It's Thursday, October 26th, and welcome back to another edition of Hot Lap Championship 6 edition. Brady, here with Brady LaBeouf and myself, Tyler Dittmer, to bring you here another show, taking you inside the world of NASRA here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network.
Absolutely, Tyler. Big week for us at Nazareth. Monday night series, championship week. It's a lot going on in the league right now, and I mean, I'm stressed out about it. Not from just a driver standpoint of view, but from a league owner standpoint of view, because there's just a lot going on. Like we're going to crown the champion on Monday night, and then we're going to take a week off and do it all over again for season 3. So a lot going on. Friday nights is getting into the playoffs, so just a lot to cover, and we're going to try to do this. Everybody bear with us in 2 hours.
Yeah, that's going to be the real challenge. And like you mentioned, Friday night's moving closer and closer to that playoffs. I believe this is the last race of the regular season tomorrow night at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And we're going to kick things off with the Friday night series. But Brady, first, I want you to talk about the QR code above your head. A very important thing for us here at Nazareth to talk about.
Yeah, this past week, actually, I'm sorry, a couple of days ago, I believe it was Tuesday, one of our good buddies in the Nazareth family, Joey Doucette, lost his mom. She passed away peacefully, surrounded by family. So we're doing a couple of things. If anybody wants to send donations or whatnot, I think they needed a little bit of help, paying for the cremation, the funeral services, and whatnot. So they have a goal of $4,000. The Nazareth families kind of come together and help raise a little bit. But we're a family. We're trying to get more advertisement out there to kind of help them out. So Joey's mom's name was Miss Robin Doucette. So we're actually going to do a memorial race for her here in a couple of weeks at Watkins Glen on the Friday night race, Tyler. So just thoughts and prayers with Joey. He's one of our good buddies. You've raced with him for 3 years. I've raced with him for 3 years. It takes a village around here, so we're just trying to do our part and try to help out a friend. Help out a Nazareth a member. So that's what that's for. And hopefully, guys, if give $5, $10, whatever you can do helps. So hopefully, we can help that family reach their goal of getting the $4,000.
Yeah, and really a great cause. And that QR code will be up on the screen the remainder of the night, and also will be part of broadcasts on all of our races Fridays and Mondays for the foreseeable future to help out the Doucette family. Again, thoughts and prayers are with them during this time. Moving on from that and very somber note to a more interesting note. And the Friday Night Concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series, Brady. And they took on Phoenix Raceway last week, the open dogleg, and a lot of people don't like the dogleg being open. I'm one of them personally. I actually prefer the old Phoenix Raceway where there was grass down there. I think it just causes unnecessary problems, and we see better racing, in my opinion, with the old dogleg. Although most people would say, oh, but there's more passing opportunities and restarts are a lot crazier with the new one, and I'd agree with that. But Jeff Merck takes Phoenix, and really a strategy call, considering that Keith Bradley won both Stage 1 and 2. Stephen Thomas finished second Stage 1 and 2. Merck pits way sooner before Bradley gets track position, and Bradley and Thomas just can't run him down in enough time. They just run out of laps, and honestly, the tires were starting to kind of even out while they were trying to chase him. So we'll see kind of how that race played out, but you're showing, I believe, the Talladega race from the Monday Night Series behind you, so you won't see that in the back of the screen. Furthermore, though, with the race rundown, Keith Bradley, after winning the first two stages, was with Stephen Thomas for second and third here. Looks like, they're going to be in a chance for a Dash for Cash position next week going to Atlanta. Bradley spins out on the last lap, goes from, I believe, second or third all the way to seventh, misses the opportunity for Dash for Cash next week. And Dash for Cash actually goes to Ashley Dodson for the second straight week, as Merck and Thomas were not eligible this week. So a lot of things to talk about there, Brady, but I mean, a very entertaining race. I watched it live the last 35 laps because I was a little bit busy beforehand, but I was kind of waiting and see if those twos were going to run them down, and they just did not have the speed at the end of that run.
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, Tyler, the last minute I decided to run in it. So I was actually in it. And finished third. Thank you to Keith Bradley for that last lap spin that you mentioned just before. But no, great clean race. I want to say we had two cautions. the Michael McKinnon and Robbie incident, and then the
Yep.
Robbie Richards hitting Blake Lothian. So not bad for 150 laps at Phoenix, in my opinion. I thought it was a
Yeah.
great race. We kind of had a little bit of everything. You had cautions, you had the stage breaks, the racing side by side. We had green flag pit stops, which is always makes for a fun event. So
Mhm.
no, I mean it was just great. It was fun. We had a lot of racing. It was kind of odd because you could race side by side and you still people were shifting. That's
Yep.
common at Phoenix, so you were able to save the right front a little bit. You could race side by side 30 laps into a run. So it was fun. I mean, I kind of got a break whenever I pitted and I came out ahead of Ashley Dodson, Joey Doucette, Zach Hartwick, some of those
Yep.
guys that were racing behind me. So I was able to get on and off pit road a little bit better than those guys. But yeah, Jeff Merck really dominated. He had the no qualifying, so he had to come from the back.
Yep.
Comes through the field, takes control of the race. Question Keith Bradley not pitting within a lap of him.
Yeah, that I was going to
Well,
ask you because you're teammates with Keith Bradley on Friday, so I would assume you guys are in the same chat. I mean, you
yeah.
see Jeff Merck pit. Why is Keith not pitting?
Well, the only thing that was really said in the channel actually Keith brought it up. He said, "When are you guys thinking about pitting?" And I said, typically for me, I like looking at races where there's 30 laps to go. That's something that I've always done. And I said, hey, 120 to 150 just makes sense. So I'm going to go down at 120. And I went down before both of them, including Stephen Thomas in third. So I was one of the first ones out of the top five to pit, and Keith just stayed out there. So I just thought, as a team, they were kind of looking for me for advice, and I said 120, and I was the only one that did it on 120, and I kind of came out pretty good.
Yeah,
And I
no, I
just
agree.
think that I think Stephen Thomas and Keith waited too late, and they just couldn't track Jeff down. So congratulations, Jeff, for winning that race. I believe that's his third win of the season. Third
I
win.
believe so.
Yeah.
Sounds
So
about right. Yeah, because he's won two other races. Although I will say, Merck maybe a short track specialist. I mean, I think all of his wins have come on short tracks. I believe he won IRP, and I don't remember his other one. Maybe his other one was on a mile and a half. But Phoenix
yeah.
kind of races like a short track, in my opinion. You're shifting, you're really slow speed corners, other than the dog leg. Really kind of reminds me of a short track.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest with you, I really didn't even care to run a dog leg. I know a lot of guys were cutting through there.
Yeah.
I was just using a track and felt like I was in a good position because the way it runs there for some reason, and which used to be 3 and 4. Well, no, it used to be 1 and 2. Now it's 3 and 4. You almost want to run the middle to higher groove. You don't want to be
Yeah.
on that yellow line where you used to run. Everybody was fighting to get to the yellow line. Now everybody's fighting to get to the blue wall. To run the high line to carry that
Yeah.
momentum off the corner going down that back straightaway or front straightaway. So yeah, just fun race. And yeah, Ashley Dotson 2 weeks in a row dash for cash. I mean, 50 bucks that he's taking home extra. I
Yeah.
mean,
And he has
I
a win too this year. So that, I mean, he's
yeah,
really making a lot more than that.
yeah, and I think this is, well, let's get it straight. It's our first season doing this, right? When I kind of
Yep.
announce it, uh preseason. The guys got excited about it. I'm sponsoring it. It's part of me getting guys more interested in the thing. So, but I think guys are underestimating because like after the race, I heard a couple of guys say, "Oh man, I forgot that I was eligible for that. How much did
Yeah.
he win? Oh, he got that. Oh man, like damn it, I wish I would have done this different." So you're gonna see as we kind of get this thing moving a little bit more, as we get more data with it, you're gonna see guys change their races to running different things. So I like it.
I hope you see what Cody just did. He made it so we can see, at least for us, talking on the podcast, the comment from Steve Burnett on the YouTube channel, and says, I look like I'm going to try and come through this screen and swing on someone. I don't know what that means. Does it mean I look like all jacked up on Mountain Dew? I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna call you a little swole from now on.
I know, right? Yeah, just a very fun race, I will say, Phoenix. And Phoenix is becoming one of my more favorite tracks, I think, as the service gets better and better, or as it improves. I think it's actually a pretty decent track. Maybe not great in the real world, But honestly, pretty fun on iRacing due to how just iRacing runs it. Um, so Phoenix Raceway official results, though, like we talked about, those top three, yourself coming home in third thanks to Keith Bradley's late spin. Ashley Dodson wins the dash for cash again. I don't know if we have any updated point standings for the Friday night before we move on, but oh, we do. So we'll get the updated Friday point standings up real quick. We'll talk about that. I want to talk, though, about the team point standings while we get that pulled up. Mission 1 dominating by 94 points right now over the field on the team points. Just absolutely impressive. You got to be happy sitting there in the catbird seat, Mr. Brady LaBeouf.
Oh, absolutely, Tyler. I mean, Ed Osborne, running top 10 at Phoenix. Ed's been pulling off some great runs for the team also, as you see in the point standings. But yeah, Mission 1 Esports, 94 points, like wow, and I'm racing part-time
I
thinking
know.
that I'm going to help out, and I'm the sixth driver, so I don't even get team points. So we're
You don't
still
matter.
yeah, so we're putting up those numbers even with my recent. Let's see, I finished. I won Talladega, ran Kentucky. What I finished seventh there. You beat me by
Yeah,
the
you
line
finished
for
right
a second.
behind me because I finished
Yeah,
fifth or sixth.
so
So, yeah.
seventh and now third place, and I'm not even able to contribute. So, but no, great job by Keith, Robbie, Joey, Ed, those guys, and
Ashley.
Ashley
Ashley.
Dotson's for putting on a really good consistent season so far.
Yeah, let's start those point standings so we can get through this so we can talk to our first set of championship 6 drivers. There we go. So Keith Bradley leading the way in the points. He's dominating on the win sheet. Jeff Merck there right behind him in second. Ashley Dodson there with a win. Joey Doucette has a win. Rest of the way through the points. I want to talk about this cutoff. This is the last race before the cutoff. Look at that line. Jacob Klinkar has 22-point advantage over Brandon Bullock. A little bit more back to Chris Blanchard. I think that's 24 points. I don't think Pappas can point his way in, or it's going to be nearly impossible. Same with Wigington. I think Wigington's actually going to be in the booth tomorrow night for the Concerns of Police Survivor Struck Series, Brady. So a lot of moving parts. But yeah, as we look further throughout those points, a lot of really interesting drivers who are going to make the playoffs this year. Taylor Peacock, a really solid season this year. I know he's missed a couple playoffs in the past, and he kind of, he's hard on himself. We consider him one of the best super speedway racers and great at Bristol, but he's really found a lot of speed this year, Brady.
So we said it last week, Tyler. Just you know, I would expect the top 10 to kind of. I'm going through the list. Taylor. I mean, like you just brought up. He's probably feels like he's overachieving a little bit, but great consistent runs. Kyle Hess right there, the
Yeah,
the top 10 driver.
he's racing for Dash for Cash this week. Kyle Hess.
Yes, absolutely. He's one of the eligible drivers. Actually, let's see, it's Ashley, Jeff, Kyle Hess, and Steven
Even.
Thomas.
Yep.
Yep. And shout out to Zach Hartwick. I
Great season.
ran with Zach at Phoenix, and he actually passed me. And believe me, I wasn't laying over for him. Like he was real competitive at Phoenix. So hats off to him. Our producer, Cody Knott, that's talking to us in our ear right now. He's 13th. Michael McKinnon 14th. Raul
Yep.
Meza 15th. Dana Shepard. I mean, just some great guys right here. Surprisingly, in that 17 hole, your guy, Chris Stinneman,
He's missed a lot of
missed.
races, Brady.
He's
He's
missed.
missed a
He's
lot.
missed. But still, he raced at Phoenix, and he was just
Yeah,
not competitive at all. I,
not a
I, I
good
will
run.
say this. I will say this. Yes, I understand the missed races, but the big but is, does this help him or hurt him going into the playoffs with the kind of results that we've been seeing out of him? I'm just worried
It,
about him. You may
it
not
hurts.
be.
Yeah, it hurts with playoff points. I'll agree. I will say I'm a little disappointed in Chris. I think him and I have missed similar numbers of races in the past, and I think I had better points finishes to the end of the season, Brady, than he is right now. I mean, what I missed 2 or 3 this past season on the Monday Night Series, and I won the regular season. So
Yeah.
I need to see more from Chris. I agree. Need to move on though, so we can get to these first chat interviews. We're going to preview Atlanta Motor Speedway. Going to Atlanta twice this year. This is the new configuration as we hop back over to us. There we go. Yeah, Atlanta, new configuration for this race. The championship race is on the old configuration. A lot to talk about. Super Speedway race, but tire wear is huge here at New Atlanta, in my opinion, even more so than Daytona. It's really, really hard to make moves, and these trucks are going to be slipping and sliding. Do you see a chaotic race?
Ah, it just depends, right? Because you got so many people that's going to be on so many different strategies. You got guys that you know, want to have to go for stage points. You know, as we saw in those point standings, Chris Blanchard, all those guys, 22 points, 24 points that they need to make up. So they're going to be going for stage points.
Hmm.
Jacob Klinghardt feels like, hey, I'm in the cutoff spot, but if they're going for stage points, I have to go for stage points. You'll see like
Yep.
guys in the top 10, they'll probably, kind of lay back, run in the back, and then they'll come up. There's going to possibly be a green flag pit stop during the final stage. It's
We'll
not
get a wreck.
easy. It's not easy to get on and off pit road as we've seen this in previous races at this track. It's just going to be really interesting. I tell you one thing though, I'm picking a dark horse for this race. If you're ready for it,
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm going. Brandon Bullock wins and advances into the playoffs.
Does he have enough starts? Is it a win in advance for him?
He should have enough starts. I think he only missed one race so far this season, or
All
two.
right, so he's
So
missed
yeah,
two, so he is eligible for winning in. Wow.
yeah.
You know,
So
I was actually going to pick another driver who's on the outside to win the race. And I was actually going to pick, I was going to take Chris Blanchard to win in
nice.
Atlanta.
Nice.
So I see that happening. I
I,
think we
I
have
promise
our
you, this is not
championship six.
scripted. I promise this
Yeah.
is not scripted.
No, it's not. I don't think Blanchard advances. I think we have our championship six drivers in here. I thought I heard Mr. Justin White in my ear. Maybe you heard him on stream. Chris Blanchard or Chris Cinnamon's giving me excuses on he was on a rental rig with only 2 laps of practice at Phoenix Raceway.
Um,
Figure it
we don't
out,
want to hear
Chris.
that. We don't
All
want
I
to
got
hear
to
that.
say is I figure it out because you were my preseason championship pick, I'm pretty sure, and you're disappointing me, Chris. I just want to make it clear. Yeah, so you need to figure it out. I think we're ready to bring in though our two championship six contenders. I don't know if the cameras are ready to go, but we are ready to start talking with them. Mr. Justin White and Hunter Parsons. Make sure you've muted yourselves in Streamlabs, but are talking in Discord. I'm going to break the fourth wall there. Sorry, producer Cody Not. We're going to bring those guys in right now. Gentlemen, don't say anything just yet. I'm going to actually start off by talking about your season so far. And we're going to start with you, Mr. Justin White. Uh, really a great run in the round of 10, in my opinion, to get yourself into these championship six positions. This season, though, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s, average finish of 18.3. No wins on the season, Justin, yet. How do you feel your season has gone first? We'll start with that.
I'm working on making a stream room outside in the garage, but I got to get a bunch of shit out of there first.
Justin, we're live.
Justin, you're on. You're on, Justin. Can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
Yeah. So Justin, like I said, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s, average finish of 18.3. I think you had probably one of the best overall performances at Talladega with all those stage points, kind of dominating the first two stages, leading laps, being up front, putting yourself in the championship six. How have you viewed your season, and where do you feel like you can proceed? How do you feel about this championship race on Monday?
Oh, it's been an absolute horrible season for me in general. Until the playoffs started, and then I guess I started turning the wick up and having decent finishes. Just I think I squeaked into the playoffs. I can't remember. I think it was either 16th or 17th in points, squeaking in. So Daytona, I think I won both stages of Daytona and finished in the top 5 or so. The last race of the season, and going into Talladega, I figured I got to have the same exact repeat if I'm going to be able to make it into the Champ Six. So, like I said, once playoffs start, regular season, it doesn't really matter anymore. It's kind of a wash. So, just making smart plays, smart moves when the playoffs started. I've had a few little hiccups in the playoffs, but nothing that's really downed our chances of staying here, or making it to the Champ Six because we're in it.
Yeah, and we're moving on to Hunter. We're going to talk about your season first, then we'll move on to some specific questions to both drivers. Hunter, 4 poles, really great qualifier so far this year. You have a win. That win took place at Rockingham, chasing down Nathan Maurer in the late going. 10 top fives, 13 top tens, average finish of 10.4. How have you viewed your season?
Uh, the first couple of weeks of it were really rough. Getting wrecked out at I think the first 3 races. So after week 3 or 4, we started out with such a big field. I was looking somewhere in the 28, 29 point standings and was just really defeated in myself, knowing I was a lot better than that. Um, then was able to just kind of put a lot of consistent runs throughout the season together. And then, towards the end where we were kind of getting down to the playoff points and getting ready for the playoffs to start, I feel like I definitely kind of put it all together and was able to put a really good playoff run together even.
Right, Justin White. Again, I just want to say this. I forgot to mention at the top of the broadcast. Justin White drives the number 2 machine for Brute Force Motorsports. Hunter Parsons, number 15 machine for Highline Racing, joining us here on the show. We talked about how you guys kind of, I would say, had different approaches to getting in, right? Justin, you came in minus 13 to the cut line at Talladega. Hunter, you were plus, I want to say, 15 or something along those lines, in the high teens. Um, 2 very different approaches. Obviously, Justin, you had to be a lot more aggressive at Talladega. How do you kind of change your mindset now coming in that you just have to beat the other 5 drivers? Justin, we'll start with you.
To be honest with you, I'm really not going to focus on the other 5. I know I'm supposed to and we need to, but the biggest thing is running your race and running the track that's given to you with the track conditions. If you can do that and run well and end up towards the front, it's going to you're going to take care. You're going to end up with a championship. You're going to take care of yourself, and you're going to end up there, hosting the trophy at the end of the season, at the when the race is over. If you start worried about everybody else, what they're doing, how they're doing it, you're overthinking it, and it's not. It's just you're not going to be there at the end.
Hunter, your thoughts?
I kind of had almost the same mentality. You can only control what you can control. And that was for me just trying to make it to the end. But with the points resetting for that round, everyone was very close after, what was it, Chicagoland? And I didn't want to put myself on the outside, conserving stage 1 and stage 2. And then you get to the end of the race and you somehow lost and you're not in, you're out by a point. So once I saw, Justin, Kerry, Lance, Stires was in there, Newton, they were all in the top 5 or 6 for stage 1. I didn't like I didn't like how that looked. So I wanted to kind of get up there and try and get what I could. Uh, I ended up only getting 3 stage points between the two, so luckily it wouldn't have really mattered to me, but I still made it through with flying colors. But definitely just needed to stay alive was, kind of my plan.
Yeah, so guys, I want to touch on a couple of things. We're gonna talk. Tyler, you and I, this is our second go at doing this. We did the championship 6 when we moved it from 4 drivers to 6 drivers. Our first time doing it was the Friday night Cops, which was the Triple M Pulling Truck Series, and we saw teammates. We had 3 sets of teammates, I believe. But
Yep.
now for Monday nights, it's everybody. We only have 1 set of teammates, and they're not together for the interview. So we get to see maybe Justin talk a little smack to Nathan. Maybe later on in the show, we'll see Nathan talk a little smack back to Justin. Who knows? You never know. But I do want to touch because it's kind of weird that we have Hunter and Justin White. I really don't think the audience knows the kind of season that these two have put together because Justin, week 4, was threatening to quit. Justin
Yeah.
just could not finish a race and came, not necessarily crying to me, but saying, "Hey, man, I can't finish a race. I'm pretty much going to take a break for 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll try to come back and maybe do it again." But you stick with it. The schedule's 25 weeks. There's 22 points races. You have to stick with it. This is why. This is why you show up every single week and just try to keep pushing through and getting points. Stage points is underrated. Hunter knows that. I mean, not finishing both of y'all the first 3 to 4 weeks of the season was horrible. We actually talked about both of y'all early on in this podcast when me and Tyler and Cody started this thing. Justin White, 28th, 32nd in points. Hunter Parsons, 27th in points. Like, man. So
Mhm.
I just want each of you to kind of touch on that a little bit more, to grinding it out, getting to week 14, making the playoffs. And I really want y'all to touch on the round of 10 of how y'all feel the points resetting, going to Chicagoland and going to Talladega. I know it's a lot, but kind of touch on that a little bit.
Justin
Starting,
can go first if he wants.
yeah, we'll start with Justin.
All right, so yeah, about it was about week 5, and I said I can't do this anymore. I'm not having fun. This is all I do. This is one of my hobbies I do. If I'm not having fun, what's the point? Then Brady convinced me just grind it out, keep driving, and the squirrels will find their way out of the tree, and you will be left in the tree, and everything will be working itself out. And lo and behold, sure it did. You just got to grind it out. Show up every week and just try to keep your nose clean. I pride myself on being a clean driver. I will not wreck somebody for the win. I just won't do it. So, and I won't wreck anybody for 15th. I'd rather race a guy for 21st door to door and have a ball and fun doing it than try to race for the win and wreck somebody. It's just not my thing. Now, I'm not saying I won't get to somebody's bumper and shove them off in the corner, but I'm not going to deliberately just drive in there and wreck them. Just not my style. I'm not going to do it. And when I'm getting wrecked out because guys just don't care, it wears on you. Just like, what am I doing? Is it me? I mean, you got to do some self reflection, and that's what I did on week 5. But Brady convinced me to keep rolling. And touching on the week 10, I mean the round of 10, the points not the playoff points not transferring was huge for me because I did the math. I still would have squeaked in, but it would have been, I'm talking points. I mean 1 or 2 points. That points reset is awesome. I think that's one of the just adds to the little niche on this league of something that's different. It doesn't run the same NASCAR. You get points. Get 40 points and basically you're in the final 4. Once that point round to 10 and it just cuts off and resets, you're basically back to a new season.
Hunter.
Yeah, like he kind of mentioned too, the whole first couple weeks, I just had none of it was in my control. Talladega running up front towards the end. I think I was running top 5 with Morales, who ended up winning, I believe, or he didn't win, but it was up front. And then the following 3 weeks, just getting caught in wrecks, not qualifying good, starting 20th on back and getting caught in first couple lap wrecks and just having nothing to do with it. So that's why the 4 poles came into play. I really wanted to try and strive to, start up front, try and stay in that clean air, kind of take all the risk factor out of it. But I was definitely, distraught throughout the first couple weeks of the season, knowing I kind of put a lot of pressure on myself, knowing I can run good. And with a lot of these guys, it's very tough to do. Um, like Dittmer, for example, he would easily be a championship driver, but he missed those couple races and it just hurt him in the playoffs. So definitely needed to just show up and try and finish as many weeks as possible. But once we did get to that round of 10, when those playoff points didn't reset, it almost put like a oh shit factor on you, because if Talladega was going to be a wild card from the start, so you needed a really good race at Chicagoland. You needed the stage points. You needed a win like Joey got there. So um, having all those stage points, like you kind of talked about, I think I had between stage points and bonus points, I had over 115 points that just kind of carried me right into the playoffs. And I think I was second in the regular season, so that gave me an extra, I don't even know what it is, 10 points on top of my 9 to 10 playoff points I had. So it just kind of helped carry throughout each round of the playoffs. But then once we had that reset, it was like everything had to go perfect for you at Chicagoland, between your pitting, not getting caught laps down, and then Talladega just trying to be there at the end to be able to go on to Auto Club next week.
Yeah, and both of y'all had 2 kind of different races. Both of y'all for Talladega, that is. Y'all were running up front. Uh, Hunter gets involved in an early accident.
2 of them.
Justin wins a stage, finishes second in a stage, finishes second, and Hunter you kind of had to coast with the damage. I know you and I were working through green flag pit stops together. So, but y'all both made it. So, congratulations. We're gonna have, I believe, 2 more questions for y'all, and then we'll get to some other things for y'all. But my question, and Tyler and I kind of talked about this earlier, no biased opinions, keep it honest. There's 4 people that were eliminated: Adam Newton, Joey Stires, Jason Morales, and Kerry Tribute. Out of those 4 drivers, pick one that you are the most surprised did not make it to the championship 6, or you might be glad that they didn't make it to the championship 6? And go with
I
you, Justin. Keep it in order. We'll go with Justin first.
All right, so going to be honest here. I am happy that Adam Newton didn't make it, and I'll be honest with you. He's my teammate next season, but man, when he gets on a roll, it is hard to beat him. Really hard to beat him. Joey Stires is right there. He's a close second. So I love those guys, but those are my big. Adam was my biggest surprise, but it kind of wasn't a surprise because he's been having some rough races here lately. He's had a few rough races. So and he's had some penalties, and those penalties have put him in the back. So when we start the race, and he's had to dig out of the hole. Joey, a Chicagoland killed him. I mean, when he started in the back for having a back penalty, it really ruined his chances, and he didn't make it. But those two guys are really fast, and there's one other guy that really concerns me in this top 6, and I'll say that here in a minute. But yeah, those two, especially Adam, especially when he gets on a roll. That's my biggest, glad and disappointment at the same time.
Hunter?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with his two. But I'm gonna, change it up just to not be the same. Um, I am pretty shocked with the Newton deal though. He, throughout the first couple rounds of the playoffs, I was like, I don't want to see him at Auto Club because he's very strong. He runs almost really defensive where it's hard to pass, but he's quick at doing it. So even Rockingham, when before I got around him on the pitch strategy, it was hard to get a run around him. He kind of knew where I was going to be at all times, so that was really hard to kind of judge. Um, but I'm kind of glad that Kerry Tribune, he's going to be our teammate next season on HLR. Kind of glad he's not going to be there because we saw it at Chicagoland. What is that, mile and a half? I think he excels really well in the mile and a half to 2 mile tracks. He's always up front. Chicagoland, he got wrecked out or damaged. I don't remember exactly what happened. I think there was a big wreck on the backstretch that collected him, which put him
Yeah, he
behind
was
the
caught
eight
up.
ball.
He was caught up in that Chris Blanchard wreck when Chris
Yeah,
Blanchard
put him
got wrecked.
definitely put him
Got
behind the
loose.
eight ball at Talladega. So, um, I think he would have been one of those guys to really watch out for at Auto Club on Monday. So I'm kind of glad he's not there. In all due respect.
You mentioned Kerry Tribune, a driver who has championship round experience from last season. I mean, he was in the championship 4. I do want to quick point out to a YouTube comment. Keith Bradley commented, his pick to win the Monday Night Championship is currently on screen. So one of you two is Keith Bradley, the reigning Concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series champion. Or Brady, I guess. Too. I forgot Brady's on the screen. I don't really consider him a championship contender. No offense, Brady. I'm just kidding. I do want to say though, who do you think could be either your biggest competitor or someone that you definitely need to be aware of all night come Monday?
Go, Justin.
Okay, I'll go. No offense, Hunter. No offense, Brady. But Nate Maurer. I'm gonna be honest. It's Nate Maurer. He's fast. He's quiet. And he's going to be super focused, and he is going to be impossible to beat. I'm telling you, he's going to be on his game. I've seen Nate in these situations, and he's there. And the only reason is because I hang out with him quite. If I hang out with you two, you'll probably feel the same. But right now, Nate has made me a better driver in general because he's pushed me beyond my comfort level of limits, comfort level of getting on the pits, for green flag stops. It's Nate for me. He scares me. I'm gonna be honest with you. He does, especially at Auto Club where the tire wear starts to come into effect. He worries me a little bit.
Yeah. First off, I don't think it's hard to make Justin better. I mean, we've seen how he races, so just saying, we're gonna start the trash talking there. Um, but I would definitely kind of put the weight here on the 16. We've seen him the last couple of weeks, Milwaukee Mile. I thought it was my race to win. He, kind of surprised me, and he kind of dominated the last stage there. Last week, where were we at? Chicagoland. Or 2 weeks ago, Chicagoland, and we know Joey's kind of been going through a lot. And I think Dittmer and I kind of talked about this last night or on Tuesday in one of our leagues, and definitely think Joey is gonna be one to watch all night on Monday. I think he's racing with a lot of stuff going on, and if I can't win it on Monday, I sure as hell want Joey to. So I definitely think 16 truck is gonna be up front.
Yeah, I think motivation wise, Joey is pretty high up on the list. Brady, I know we got to kind of get things moving along so we can get to our next set of guests, but I guess really the last big question we have for these two drivers. One is who wins, and two, I want to point out, Hunter, your shirt. On one side, it says HLR Team Champions, and on the other side, it has your number, and then crossed out the other 5 championship drivers' numbers.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Thank you for
That's
noticing.
awesome. That's awesome.
yeah, the trash talking really has begun, and it is with Hunter Parsons. To I think no one's surprise in the Monday Night League. If there was going to be one driver to talk smack here tonight, it was going to be you. You are my teammate. Sometimes I wish you wouldn't talk as much smack as you do because I'm definitely a little bit more quiet when it comes to talking smack of all things. I'll defend
That just
myself.
means you're
But I
not
don't.
good at it.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
I mean, they might have to wait
Sure.
later in the show, but I'll say it since Hunter's on, since I'll be with Nate, so Hunter doesn't feel left out. I like Justin's pick. I like Hunter's pick, but at the same time, if Hunter and Nate, we'll see if they wreck each other on the caution
Oh
again.
God.
If they do, then we don't have to worry about them anyway. So thank you in case that does happen,
I,
Hunter.
I might just have to
Awesome.
wreck all 5 of you under caution before we start and just make it
Hey,
easy. I'll take
Yeah.
the EOL if all 5 of you are out.
Serious question. Where's Jeff Merck at tonight? For next Monday? Where's Jeff at? We need him.
Why do you need
No, we
him?
don't.
Oh, I forgot the Richmond
yeah.
deal. You're right. Shit.
Yeah.
Crap. My bad.
Yeah.
I forgot about that, Justin.
I think
That was
we'll
funny.
give Jeff a waiver to show up at Auto Club just
Yeah,
for Hunter.
definitely not Brady because I would like
In
to
that
win
case,
Monday.
I want Stephen Gregory in my corner.
But look, guys, I just want to first and foremost say congratulations. This is me not talking as a driver. This is me talking about the owner. Congratulations, making it this far. That we started off with 45 drivers as full-time status. Only 6 of us can be here tonight. You are 2 of them. Congratulations again. Thank y'all for sticking it out. But each of you will have 60 seconds. I want you to thank anybody that you want to. You have the floor, say what you want. But really and truly, I would encourage you guys to thank the people that, help you, allow you to race on Mondays, help you get this far. Maybe they help you financially. Maybe they help you, just by supporting you. So, Justin, 60 seconds.
Also,
and then
your
Hunter.
championship pick. Your championship pick. It can be yourself.
A championship pick. Ooh, okay. I may get it. Let me give that to you. Let me thank everybody first. 'Cause I got that on my head first. I want to thank my family, of course, first and foremost. I want to thank Brady for putting the league on, for dealing with all of us drama queens and prima donnas and everything else he has to deal with. I get completely. I want to thank Grinds, my main sponsor for the most of the season. They helped me quit chewing tobacco. They're a big help. I want to thank Cops for coming on board for the final race of the season. Hopefully, we can carry that into the Friday league series as well. Thank Huck, Nate, Robbie, Doug Neal for helping me get my setup put together. Thank the broadcasters for putting the race on. I know that's not an easy job to do. I've pretty much dealt my hands and fingers in every bit of sim racing, so I get everybody's job. I want to thank TJ Moore for dealing with us too, because that's not an easy job to deal with, and for being fair. And then of course, you guys, the other 5 I'm racing against. Those guys. I appreciate running everybody clean. That's the biggest thing for me is just running everybody clean. Appreciate you guys giving me a challenge on Monday night. So. And then outside of that, my pick is either myself, of course. You got to think, but I have a little bit else. I'm going Nate. Nate all the way. I'm pretty sure he's going to pull it out. He's going to be there at the end. The tire's going to matter, and he's going to be focused, and he's going to go right to the front.
Hunter.
Yeah. And then I'd like to thank everyone at Nazareth too. I mean, Brady has built an empire. It's almost became like a second family. I moved out here to North Carolina and this year, and Nazareth has pretty much been kind of my keepsake to keep, actually have people to talk to and do stuff with throughout the week. Everyone who does the broadcasting, the race control, everything from the top to the bottom, it's a big family. We kind of been seeing that the last couple weeks with Joey. We're all there for each other, and it's been awesome to run in and excited for more races. Jason Morales for putting together a new team of HLR this year, putting together a really good team, wrapping up the team championship this last week. Julia my fiance for letting me run, 2, 3 nights a week, whatever Nazareth runs, I'm usually trying to be on. The guys at Joe Gibbs Racing for letting me skip out some days early to be able to come home and put in some laps and practice. and just everyone who has a hand part in everything. It takes a lot of work to do everything that the average people watching don't see, between all the points, the rule book, the standings, how everything gets put on together. It's truly a lot. And then my pick, Auto Club. I gotta go with myself, of course, because you just have to. If you don't think you're gonna win, you're not gonna win. And then Joey Doucette, hands down.
Real quick before we let you both go, Zach Hartwick, I'm gonna appease him. Who do you think takes home 7th in the championship? Every driver that was in the playoffs, best finisher, wins 7th. Who do you think gets it done? Real quick, Justin.
You know what? Let's go with Zach. He's my underdog, dark horse. He won at Las Vegas this season. I think he's going to pull it out. We'll go with him.
Oh man, I don't even remember who was in the top 20.
Bruh,
I'm gonna go with
you're
Adam.
looking at one of them.
Tyler Ditmer.
You've skipped a week already. You're out. I'm not
I'm
counting
running
you.
for 7th. I paid the fee on the ladder for 7th.
Everybody's eligible from 7th to 20th.
Ditmer still missed a week, I know, in there. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Adam Newton just because he won on Tuesday. I'm mad at Ditmer right now for kicking my ass in that league. It's fine. I'm gonna go with Adam Newton.
Fair
Jeez
enough.
Louise.
Fair enough.
Can't even get my own teammate. All right, well, gentlemen, we do appreciate you coming on with us. I know we got to get the show rolling. I know, Justin, you have somewhere to be here shortly. So, again, appreciate y'all coming in. Hope you all have great practices leading up to Monday night. Wish you both the best of luck, and hopefully you'll be racing for it at the end. That's all we can ask for here on the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. Again, thank you both for tuning in and talking with us here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
All right, Brady. Well, definitely a lot of. Well, I'm not going to say I'm shocked. Hunter was definitely going to talk the most trash of anyone here.
Of course,
No
of
one's,
course.
no one's surprised. I'm offended by both of their 7th place picks. I agree, though, that Nate Maurer and Joey Doucette are going to be big players come Monday night.
I think whenever I made the schedule for this podcast, I think I messed up pretty big when I didn't put myself with Hunter. I think
That would have been so much more
that
fun.
would have been a little bit fun. But hey, there's always
Hopefully
next time,
hopefully Nate's talking some smack.
Yeah. I tried to get him, and just to let everybody know, congratulations, Nate Maurer, and congratulations to myself, Brady LaBeouf. We were in the Final Four last season, and we both made it to the Championship 6. So, 2 years in a row. Heartbreak for Kerry Tribute. Adam Newbert's dealing with some personal issues this past season. So, but it's nice to see some familiar places, familiar faces in the same places. So,
Yeah.
we'll have to keep that, as a note as we keep track. Just to let everybody know, we keep track of the series history. So,
We do.
the past winners, champions, team champion, the Final Four, Final 6. So it's going to be fun to keep track of that for years to come.
Oh, for sure. Moving on real quick, we're going to talk a little bit about the Monday night series. Really not talking about the Champ 6. Really, we don't have to talk much about the race because the Champ 6 will do it for us. But let's talk about who won the race. Blake Lothian wins at Talladega. 5 drivers making the Championship 6 on points. Joey Doucette winning at Chicagoland locked himself in. I got a question for you, and this is not going to be in the hot laps. I'm going to ask it here. Is Blake Lothian the greatest part-timer in NASRA history, or is it still Ted Wade or Rhett Tucker?
Oh, to me, not Rhett Tucker, because I don't
Really?
really
I would say
remember.
Rhett Tucker.
No, not as a port time. The question's about port time, and anytime we've had
Well,
a
he's
series,
part-time now, kind of.
no, I wouldn't consider Rhett in that category.
Okay.
I would consider. It's tough because you see the kind of success that you see Blake have on Mondays, and
It's
it hasn't really transferred over to Fridays. Um,
Yes and no. I mean, he's gotten
Ted,
wrecked out a lot on Fridays.
yeah,
Some of his own doing, I'll give you that.
I would agree with it. Okay, I would say Blake is one of the best,
Yeah.
if not the best. So yeah, of course, he does stuff, real life racing and whatnot. So he can't really commit to a full time. It would have been really interesting if he would have this season because he's shown up for a lot of races. Like,
No, I think he's what 11 starts, and he's got
Yeah.
5 wins in those 11 starts, or 4 wins.
Yeah. So and it might even be more starts than that. I don't know. You'd have to check the stat on that.
I don't know. I have to look.
Yeah, I might look it up for us for a record. But unless Cody, not our producer, can do that for us. But yeah,
Yeah.
Blake is one of the top port time guys. I think part of your question was limiting the amount of starts for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Do we have to limit him? Because I mean, to be fair,
That's
you can
tough.
make an argument that the majority of Swim's team points this year in the Monday night series is from Blake Lothian, a part timer.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I
I
mean,
would say
but
more than the majority.
look, I mean, if you know, that's an accountability on the drivers in the league
I agree.
because you have guys like Highline Racing. Those five guys, full time guys, show up week in and week out.
Yep.
The So Blake
13
has
starts and
13
4 wins.
starts and 4 wins. Well,
11
five
was
if
close.
you include the All Star, correct? It's five, right? Yeah, yeah. So five with the All Star, which was a 9 points race. Um, but yeah, I mean, if Misfits Motorsports, those guys showed up. Brute Force, those five guys showed up.
Yeah.
If everybody is accountable, the full time drivers I'm touching on, we don't have to worry about part time drivers showing up because if you remember, a lot of those part time drivers weren't able to race the first 3 weeks because we had 43 to 45 entries.
Yeah.
So if the full time drivers show up, we kick those part timers out of the race for that week. So it's just kind of if the full time drivers show up, we don't have to worry about those guys. I like the way we have it. The 7 starts, then you can race in the playoffs.
Yeah. I
So we
agree.
really didn't shut down Blake. He was able to race an extra 8 weeks for being, uh, you know, committed, to running with us. That's just part of the game. That's why you put part timers on your team and whatnot. I guess it doesn't make sense if all five guys show up week in and week out, but at the same time, it's part of the rule book. I like the way it's set up for part-time guys. They help
Yeah.
fill the fields,
No, I
so
agree.
that we keep the payouts high and everything. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, no, I love it whenever Blake shows up because if you want to beat the best, you got to beat the best. So I
Oh, I
mean,
agree.
yeah. So yeah,
It was just more of a topic of conversation. I thought it was just an interesting topic. Um, real quick, 7th through 20th place in points. The current system we have right now, it's whoever finishes the best in 7th through 20th finishes 7th through 20th for next week's race at Auto Club. In the future, we're changing that to just most points accumulated throughout the entire playoffs once you're eliminated. I think that's a good change personally. Even though I've missed 2 races, it probably hurt me in this year's standings. But this year, I can finish 7th somehow. I will say, though, other big things we need to talk about that are, I would say, more important than the fact that that's a thing. Highline Racing clinches the team championship. Brady, I called it. To be fair, I think you called it as well. I think we agreed mid-season who our team champion was going to be. It was going to be
absolutely.
Highline
Yeah.
Racing.
And this goes back to commitment. I
Yeah.
mean, if you look across the board, Highline has been one of the most committed teams. You five guys running together, working together. Hats off to you. Congratulations to Jason Morales, the team leader of your group. Uh, Jason Morales races on that team, not just the team leader, but he runs. Tyler Dittmer, Hunter Parsons, Steve Bornett, and Chris Blanchard. I mean, hats off to you guys. I mean, y'all deserve it. Most consistent team by far all year long. Would have loved to have seen. He gets one more opportunity. We'll see how it plays out. Would have loved to have seen Jason get that
Yeah,
win.
no
I
win.
know it's coming. I know it's coming.
I know.
But everybody contributing to that team. You can go and look at the results. Everybody's contributing to team points on that team. So hats off to you. I will circle back though. 7th through 20th to me does matter. I don't want to shy away from that because there is money on the
I agree.
line. But I do like the new, like you said, kind of like the chase feel for those guys next season.
Yeah.
It was only fair to do it that way. Most points wins. But I'm gonna say Tyler Dittmer gets 7th spot, just because I know you're gonna be competitive at all club. If you're missing the race, you better tell me now so I can change my pick.
No,
But
I'll
if
be
you're
there.
gonna be
I'll be
there,
there. I'll
if you're
be
gonna
there,
be there,
and I'll
I'm
be
gonna
there to
say
win.
I'll say Dittmer is going to get 7th place. So that would be
Yeah.
my pick.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick myself because I think that's bad juju. I'm going to take Adam Newton just because I think he's the other top driver for this race track type and race distance. So I think it will come down between Newton and myself. Zach Hartwick made a comment, "Oh, I'm pretty confident I could outpace me come Monday." Zach, you have not outpaced me once this season. That wasn't a super speedway where I wrecked out, or Vegas when I got right hooked into the fence, because I dominated that race and you got lucky and won it. So I'm going to leave that smack talk with that. I know. There you go. My producer in our ear saying I'm not good at smack talk sarcastically. Yeah. There you go, Zach Hartwick. Take that. Um, Moving on, we started this new thing in the last couple weeks called a driver's poll, kind of similar to the coaches poll and the AP polling for college football, Brady. A lot of fun we have with it here at Nazaro. We started it for Fridays and Mondays. Didn't mention the Friday results. We'll go back to that probably for the final lap because I know we got to get to our next set of drivers. But real quick, coming out of Chicagoland, I don't have yet the Talladega results. Those drop every Sunday, give or take, because I give the week for the guys to put their results in. Joey Doucette was first in this poll. He had 5 first-place votes. Brady, you were second. You pretty much had all the second-place votes. I'm going to be quite honest with you from Chicagoland. You had every second-place vote. Hunter Parsons was third. He had 1 first-place vote. Adam Newton was fourth. Lance Miller was fifth. Myself was sixth. Kerry Tribune seventh. And Joey Steyer was eighth. Looking back at it, of the top 8, only 1, 2, 3, 4 of those drivers made the Champ 6. To be fair, I was already eliminated, so that kind of skews that results. But I think it's a lot of fun we're having with it.
Absolutely. I think I almost think it's better than the power rankings, because it's voted by your peers. Uh, I didn't, our producer's hollering at me in my ear because he does the power rankings. It's not that. I want to continue to do the power rankings. I'm just saying Tyler came up with a great idea. It kind of throws that football factor into NASCAR, kind of like, both sports meeting up. I think it's a great idea. I love it because you're judged on your peers that you race week in and week out with. Except for one exception of one person who may have voted, a
Yeah, the
different way that
YouTube
we had to
comment
take
has
out.
that
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. So yeah, but besides that, I think it was really interesting and it's nice to see, what people think about other drivers. Now, I'm not saying we can see the results. You can probably, but I can't see what other drivers, how they voted or whatnot. But it's
I don't have
cool to,
emails attached to it, so
yeah.
it's really anonymous. I know what I put
Okay.
in because I
So
know what I put in the top 5, but otherwise it is completely
yeah.
anonymous. I have no
So
way of knowing who voted who.
absolutely. And of course, I didn't vote for myself for first because I don't
Well,
even
I
have
know
a
you
first place
wouldn't do
vote.
that.
But
I don't
yeah,
even vote for myself for first, even if I think I'm
but
the best.
But yeah, this was for the Monday series. Friday night, obviously, it's going on too. It's kind of a real catchy thing going. I think the drivers get excited about it. I get excited about it, so I hope they get excited about it.
Yeah. No, we've had really good participation in the first few weeks of it. Really good participation in the Friday night series for the first week. We'll hit that on the final lap. I want to take this time, though. We need to move on to our next set of Championship 6 drivers. That's Joey Doucette, the number 16 machine for Misfits Motorsport. And Lance Miller drives the number 21 for 979 Racing here live on the Hot Lap with Tyler and Brady. Joey and Lance, let's bring them on, Cody. Yeah, here we go. Joining us now live officially, Lance Miller, that number 21 machine, and Joey just had the number 16 machine. Gentlemen, thank you both for your time. Joey, so good to see you. Considering everything going on this week, and really glad you take some time out of your very busy life right now, very tough life right now, to spend some time with us, and we really appreciate it. And I want to make that known how much it means to me and Brady that you come on this show and talk with us. I do want to keep it somewhat consistent from the first 2 drivers. We'll start with you, Joey, on your season. 3 poles, very great qualifier here. You had 2 wins at Milwaukee and Chicago, both coming in the playoffs, locking you into successive rounds. I believe you went from the round of 14 to the round of 10, locked into the championship 6 with those 2 wins at Milwaukee and Chicago. You had 5 top 5s, 8 top 10s, an average finish of about 14.76. Joey, just kind of walk us through your season and how you're feeling entering next Monday.
I didn't have the greatest season. I was just trying to be consistent, and I've got in a couple of wrecks and just kind of came on during like the playoffs, and I had that a lot of motivation, um, just kind of going in, and then like you said, with everything with my mom, and that gave me extra motivation. Winning Milwaukee that and locking myself in the to the top 10 there, and then winning at Chicagoland, which I never thought. I was up there, but I was like, oh, there's going to be a caution that comes out and, screw all this up. But winning there and then locking myself in, not worrying about Talladega, was just big off my back because I got caught in a wreck at there, and I'm like, I'm glad I'm locked in. So, but no, I tried to do the best I could to get the best finishes I could, but I just came on and at the right time, and um, going into Auto Club, I really feel confident. Friday night, I think we had the clash there or something, and I finished second behind Cinnamon. So I'm really good there, and I think I can manage my tires and still be up front there.
Yeah, and Lance, I mean, your season, 1 pole, 3 top 5s, really close finish, I believe, for you at Michigan, losing to Jose Luis Rivera by just the slightest of margins. 7 top 10s, a 14.9 average finish. Just kind of a consistent season. Talk me through that and how that was for you, especially throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, I think my season's kind of a story of almost 2 seasons. Kind of pre All-Star race and then post All-Star race. I mean, I had the pull at Richmond and couldn't really do much with it. I ran up front there, top 5 for the first stage or two, and then got involved in a wreck and finished like 25th or something. I know I ran really well at the Clash, and was top 5. But then the first half of the season there, minus Richmond and Michigan, um, I was getting in a lot of wrecks that weren't my fault, some that I probably could have avoided. And just I took I ran the Triple M Pulling Truck Series. I think the first season you guys ran, there during COVID, and then kind of took a break from anything NASCAR, and got back this year and was just getting used to running stage racing again. And then after the Eldora All Star race, where I finished second and felt really good about it, I kind of pulled it together and ran really well throughout the playoffs. And looking at the playoff schedule and kind of eyeing myself up to see where I might be able to get to as far as rounds. And I figured I could get to the round of 10, but I figured that it would be tough to um, get to the round of 6 because I knew I'd be decent at Chicagoland. I'm pretty good at the 1.5 mile tire wear tracks. But with Talladega, I always just like to sit back and just avoid the wrecks the first 2 stages and get a solid finish. And then I kind of ran mediocre at Chicagoland and was pretty nervous going into Talladega. And I pulled something together at Talladega that I was pretty proud of.
Yeah, and really both of your seasons just very, very, I would say, kind of. I mean, you both would say it's inconsistent, and in some ways I would agree, but similar in like average finish, both around the 14 average finish. Both of you, I would say, obviously Joey, you're on a hot streak. I would argue, especially with your 2 wins in the playoffs. How does that kind of affect your mindset coming into this championship race, and kind of talk to me about how you have to change your focus maybe from collecting stage points to focusing on what the other 5 drivers are doing around you. We'll start with Joey and then hit Lance.
Yeah, just a lot of momentum after those 2 wins, and then really I didn't really get a lot of stage points. I don't think, in my opinion, I didn't get a lot of stage points throughout the season, so it really doesn't bother me. I kind of stepped back from the stage point, like at Talladega. I wasn't really running for nothing, and I didn't care about stage points, so I kind of like been for the past like 2 weeks after Chicago. I was like, well, I'm not racing for stage points anymore because they don't matter. So going into that, just my mindset is like, I don't have to be up there the whole race. I just have to be there at the end of the race. So that's where I sit at it, and just try to stay out of trouble and see where those guys are. If they're up front, maybe I'll make my way up there. But if they're just laying back and trying to avoid like wrecks or anything, and just try to stay clean and be there at the end.
Lance?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I mean, throughout the playoffs, if I was around top 10, I would try and push it and get to the top 10 and get a few stage points, but I'm not overly concerned about stage points. I like getting them if I can, but I like the solid finishes more. Um, and so I kind of like that style of just worrying about your finishing position. I can feel out where I'm at, try to work the balance out and feel out the tire wear the first two stages, and then try and push at the third stage and see where I'm at.
Brady, questions for the drivers?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to touch on a little bit because we have two different kind of the way the playoffs kind of ran for both these drivers, two different dynamics. Joey wins at Chicagoland. He's locked into the championship six. So he can basically just go start and park at Talladega. Lance Miller is below the cut line by 3 points, which is still doable, right, Lance? But at the same time, you're below the cut line. So you have to, I would say, worry about stage points because you see guys like you're battling, you're behind Adam Newton, you're behind Joey Styres, Nathan Bauer, myself, Hunter Parsons, and you see us all five compared to you up there battling for stage 1 points, stage 2 points. So you got to kind of get worried that if some like somebody like me gets 17, Hunter gets 16, Justin gets 15, 19, whatever it may be, that you're putting yourself from 3 points back to 20 plus points. So now that you might have to win and race your way in at this point. So we're gonna start with Joey, kind of keep it in order. Talk to us about the different dynamic of Joey, you being locked in, and what your plan was for Talladega, and Lance after the second stage of knowing who got stage points and who didn't, of how you fought your way in to make this championship six.
To go off what I just said was after winning the Chicagoland, I didn't want to run up front. I was just trying to help. I mean, I was in your Discord. I was trying to help you get where you needed to be to get stage points, and I was helping other drivers of Adam Newton and trying to get some of the consolation guys like Blanchard and Ed and them guys to make it into their championship kind of six for them. So I wasn't really worried. I mean, it was records or checkers. If I finish the race, if I don't finish the race, I know where I'm going to be next week. Um, so I was just helping out who I could at the time, and eventually I got into that wreck, and it was just over from there. But I was like, well, I'm already locked in. I can help wherever I can be. So I exited the race and kind of stepped out and watched you guys and told you where the runs were coming and who was pitting when, and just to help you guys out to finish the race in a good spot and get you guys moving to the next round.
And Lance, you had to battle back, right? So you and myself are in a different position than Joey. He's locked in. He could wreck, go flying to the moon, out there, have a beer in the infield at Talladega. But you had to kind of claw your way through this thing.
Yeah, especially I knew I needed stage points. I knew I was kind of fighting for the last 2 or 3 spots there. I knew with Joey being locked in, and then I knew you were almost 20 points above the cut line, so it was going to be hard if you got a few stage points to get up there against you. So I knew I was racing kind of Kerry Tribune and some of the guys below the cut line there and Adam Newton. And so going in, I knew I needed to get a bunch of stage points and try to stay as clean as I could. And the first stage there, when I saw Justin won, it kind of made me a little nervous. And then I saw when he got second in the second stage, I knew he was probably going to be in if he stayed clean. So that kind of hurt where I was looking at. And I should have, my mom said I should have played the lottery Monday night because the wreck there at the end of the first stage, I just barely got brushed by someone coming down to try and avoid the wreck and didn't have any damage. And then the wreck at the end of the second stage there, a couple guys came just right across my nose and I had the lightest touch and no damage and was feeling good about it. And I wasn't sure how we were going to work out where the stage points were in the second stage. So I knew I got 4 points in the first stage and I knew I got between 1 and 3 points in the second stage. So I knew if I got top 5, I was probably going to be in, especially when I saw Kerry was a lap down and involved in a wreck and 1 or 2 other guys were involved in wrecks. So then coming to the last couple laps, I was hanging out there up front, third on the inside row, kind of trying to find my way if I needed to make a move to the middle or where I needed to be. And thankfully, with everything broke loose and everyone except for four of us wrecked there and coming into the tri-oval, and was able to get third. And I was pretty nervous actually after the first green flag stop. Me and like 5 or 6 of us pitted all at the same time, and me and Brandon came out, and we were the only two that came out together, and we're 5 seconds behind the lead pack. And I'm like, oh crap, that's not good. And then somehow we managed, Rao hooked onto the back of us, and we managed to end up climbing our way back up and catching the field. And then when we came out, I was with a pack with you, Brandon, and Brady, and I knew we were in a big enough pack we could catch the leaders. We were only about 4 seconds back, and that made me feel a lot more comfortable. And then I knew once we got down to the last 5 laps, I just had to avoid the wreck.
Absolutely. Well, look, we're going to put you guys on the spot for these next couple of questions. I'm going to start off with this one. We're going to actually talk about the guys who didn't make it: Adam Newton, Joey Stiers, Jason Morales, and Kerry Tribute. For you, you guys didn't run season one. Kerry Tribute was in this position. He made it to the final four last season. Just barely gets eliminated this round. He had two horrible races, Chicagoland and Talladega. But those four guys, talk about the one that you're most surprised who didn't advance to the championship six, and then talk about the one that you're happy did not make it to be racing against you at Auto Club. We'll start with you, Joey.
Adam Newton for sure. For his competitiveness and him.
Now, is this your surprise, or are you glad he didn't make
my
it?
surprise? No, my surprise, because the way it's a surprise because the way that he's had a couple bad races, and that's what sucks, because if he didn't have a couple bad races getting to wrecks, he's in. And because I mean, we're all talented enough to make it. We just have to have luck on our side. But I'm really surprised he didn't make it. But the one that I'm kind of happy about is the other Joey. I'll call him the other Joey. He's really, really good. He's fast each and every week. I think he's one of the fastest guys next to Dipner and Nate Maurer and everything. And so it's hard to beat him and hard to pass him at the same time. So I'm kind of glad that he's out. Sucks and surprised that Newton didn't make it, but with his luck for the past couple of weeks, just shot him in the foot. But
Lance?
I was gonna say my big surprise is definitely Adam Newton. I thought, and the guy was kind of glad he didn't make it because I know he's raced so well. And then my other surprise was Joey Stiers. We raced pretty closely there at Chicagoland. I think both the Joeys were all tight there. That 7, 8, 9 spot at Chicagoland, and so I was surprised that Stiers didn't make it, and I was very surprised that Newton didn't make it either.
But are you happy that one of them didn't make it?
Yeah, I was happy that Newton didn't make it. He worried me the most going into the championship six.
Okay. Now, Tyler, you and I have both asked this question, and you can go ahead with it, Tyler. I know what you're going to ask, so if you want to take the floor real quick.
Oh, I mean, I was going to go with who do they think wins, but I mean, this is more of a question from Zach Hartwick because he has asked this question, and I will appease Zach tonight. I'll be a good person because I ignored one of his questions last week, and it was, who do you think out of all the drivers who have been eliminated in the playoffs, who runs the best Monday night of all the drivers eliminated? So essentially, who finishes 7th in the championship? Because all the eliminated drivers are essentially just racing each other to finish 7th.
That's a tough one. It's between two people, and if he has a good race and stays out of trouble, actually, I'm going to go with 3 because it just one popped in my head. Zach's been on a tear. He's been having good races. He's been finishing up there on Monday and Friday if he stays out of the wreck. Tyler, you are my second. You've always been fast. You've always been up front, but sometimes luck is not on your side. And
Tell me
then
about it.
also Adam Newton. If he can get a clean race, it's between them three right there.
Yeah, Keith Bradley just said Zach is just dying to hear his name. I agree. I think Adam.
Well,
Newton's
he's
got a
also my
strong one.
teammate, so that's
Yeah,
the thing.
yeah.
I'm not Hunter Parsons. I'm sorry, but I will support my teammate
Yeah, I
to
was gonna
make
say,
it.
thank
I
you,
mean,
thank you
even
for being a good teammate, Joey. I will give you that. Unlike my teammate,
I'm,
Lance, who's your pick?
The one a little bit just because he's my teammate for next season is Zach Hardwick. I think he's run good, especially lately, but all year. And then Adam Newton, just because I thought for sure he'd make the championship 6, and
Yeah.
he's always up there, top 5 guy. So I think one of those two are going to be 7th.
Yeah, you quickly mentioned, hey, you are moving over to Warrior Racing next season, Lance. Pretty big step for you over to the team that Cody Knott, our producer, runs. I say Joey's showing us his phone as it's going crazy, but
I bet Zach is streaking in the quad at Michigan University right now, screaming at the top of his lungs like
no,
Will
he's
Ferrell.
buying tickets for the Utah-Oregon game to videotape the sideline of Oregon. That's what Zach.
Oh, too soon? Too soon?
No, not too soon. Gentlemen, we do want to move on to our I think it's going to be our final question, Brady. And it's going to be tied into one, thank everyone who makes everything happen for you. Thanks anyone who allows you to do what you guys get to do, allows you to run the way you get to do every single week. And then also, who is your championship 6 winner? You can pick yourself and you can pick one other driver if you so choose, because that's what both of our previous drivers have done.
I like to thank Chris Blanchard, the team owner of Misfits, Yankee Communication, my mom. She was just supportive of me doing this. She's like, I don't know why you do this. I was like, Mom, it's just a thing that I do. And my dad, my family, all Brady for sure. I run. He's my team owner on Friday nights, and I jump in his Discord on Monday for the past like five or 6 weeks. Um, all the sponsors, everybody in this league that's had my back since I got the news about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I'm picking me. I gotta pick me. Just want to win it for my mom, and I think that's the greatest motivation. I asked her, I was like, just hold on until next Monday. I was just hold on until after the championship 6. Just wanted her to be here, and just in case if I win it, and just say, hey, Mom, I won the championship, just not for me, but for you. And Brady's up there. It's either me or Brady.
Lance?
So
Yeah, I gotta thank my parents. They put up with me being back here in the spare bedroom screaming every Monday night or throughout the week in official races. Um, and I gotta thank Brandon Broadfoot. I mean, I don't think I wouldn't have made it in without him pushing me to get back to that pack during green flag runs last week, and just being there to bounce stuff off of every week in the Discord. And he's always more fired up about stuff than I am, so it's it's nice to be kind of the calm person in that group. And then for my picks, I think Brady's going to be up there. He's got a good shot, and I think Joey is probably my other pick, just because he's got a little extra motivation and he's raced so well all season with a couple wins. I'd like to say myself, but I haven't had any wins. I mean, if I could get my first win next week, that would be phenomenal. So
Well, you brought it up, Lance. I was gonna bring it kind of up, not to kind of down you or anything like that, because I want you deserve to be here, right? I want you to feel like you deserve to be here because you do. I mean, it's tough when you go through these 8 weeks of these playoff races and there's people getting eliminated after 3 races, 2 races, you got to fight. You might have playoff points, you might not. You have a bad race, and then you might be able to win your way in. Um, just because you don't have a win doesn't mean you didn't deserve to be here. And if you do win the championship and you finish second to a Tyler Dittmer or Adam Newton, does not matter. Okay, you deserve to be here. Congratulations for making it this far. I'm so glad I reached out to you because I think you're great for this series. I'm a big fan of yours. Behind the scenes, I'm glad that you fought, clawed your way up to the final six. Like I said, you deserve to be here, buddy. Good luck to you, Joey. Good luck to you, buddy. I know you got a lot that you're motivated about. Um, Congratulations to both of y'all. Joey's got the most wins out of all the Champ Six guys. There's a lot of third and fourth seeds that have made it. Lance, you were the third seed actually, so you were the highest seed in the playoff points coming into the playoffs. So you made it. Joey was, I want to say, the ninth seed. I was the 11th seed. Nate Maurer was the 12th seed. So a lot of mixed people throughout these top 20 guys that made the playoffs. But I just wanted to let both of you know I'm so proud of both of y'all. I can't wait to race with y'all on Monday, and may the best man win.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Can I just say one more last thing? The Nazra group, the podcast with the whole 16 strong, and all to the viewers that watch this podcast, watch our streams every Monday and Friday. I want to thank you for the love and support at this time. You guys have done so much for me and my family, and I just wanted to show my gratitude to the viewers and to you guys and all the drivers in Nazra.
Absolutely, Joey. And like I said, everybody's going to be a fan, but only one person could win Monday night. So we'll see. May the best man win. And thank you guys for taking time out of your schedule to be on the podcast tonight.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, again, thank you both. That was Joey Doucette, the number 16 driver, and Lance Miller drives for the number 21 machine. Brady, this is now, God, I almost cried. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Man, Joey, really wishing him the best of luck come Monday.
Absolutely. That's it's got to be
Yeah.
tough. I can honestly say that I do not know how he feels. I've it sucks. My mom and dad are still here today. But I can only imagine, people don't realize, like we take this, serious. People might think that it's a joke, might laugh at us or whatnot, but it really is. I look at it as a game of golf. You go play golf, and you shoot a 75, you want to shoot a 72 next week, or you want to shoot a 68. It's the same thing with us. We race, we might finish fifth, might finish fourth, we want to win. Everybody wants to win, but it's so competitive. We're such a tight knit group,
so
not just
hard.
because we're close. We've been doing this, for 3 years. It seems like we've been knowing each other 3 years, and we've all become, I would say, in our own way. I have a great relationship with you, Tyler. I have a great relationship with Keith Bradley or Cody Nod, or Joey Doucette, Chris Blanchard, but it's different relationships. I don't talk to, say, Cody Knott the same things that I talk to you about. So it's fun. It's a tight knit group. Y'all keep me competitive. Y'all keep me thriving for Mondays. Mondays are supposed to suck, but they're the best night of the week for me because I get to compete with you guys week in and week out. So without further ado, moving on. But yeah, wish all those guys hot lap time. Hot lap.
It's the best
And I
part
get
of
to
the
kick it
show.
off tonight. I get to kick it off.
You do.
So the topic is, Tyler, and we kind of touched on this talking to people, the first 4 Championship 6 drivers, but now it's you and me, right? You and me get to go at it for a little bit, minute 45 on the clock, and then I'll get 45 minutes to rebuttal, and then we'll kind of flip flop it through each question. But now this is my topic. The first question: SimRacerHub.com Truck Series drivers that were eliminated this past Monday night. Who are you most surprised with not making the Championship 6 on Monday night out of Adam Newton, Joey Stires, Jason Morales, or Kerry Tribute?
So let me start with this first. Jason, I love you. I'm glad you brought me to Highline Racing. I'm glad we won the team championship. I was pulling for you. I really wanted you to make the championship 6. You are not my biggest shock, though. It has to be. I don't know if you agree with me or not. And a lot of people will be like, oh, Joey Stiers. Yeah. If you were not thinking that Adam Newton wasn't going to be part of this championship 6 once I was eliminated, then you had to be living on a different planet. Because Adam Newton is one of the best drivers the Monday Night Series has, but he had some of the worst luck. Some of his own doing. I mean, right? If you look at Chicagoland, he has to start in the back and do a pass through because he had back-to-back EOLs. That's his own doing, his own making, his own fault. Gets no stage points stage 1, maybe got a point in stage 2 at Chicagoland. Finishes, I think, 7th or 6th or whatever. But finishes outside the top 5. He really needed a top 5 because a lot of other playoff drivers had stage points. Then goes to Talladega, gets involved in a wreck, sits on pit road for 10, 15 laps, getting required damage fixed, and he's out of the playoffs. So he's the shock, but I can't say it was completely on accident. I mean, some of it was his own doing. No matter how you slice it, Brady, getting back-to-back weeks of EOLs put him in this position where I believe he was tied on points on the cut line with Morales and Miller, I want to say, coming in to Talladega. So I know he's frustrated, but I guess really he only has himself to blame.
Absolutely. And, I want to touch on your point. You bring up yourself and Adam Newton. You were the first seed going into the playoffs. Adam Newton's the second seed. So first and second don't make it. It has to be Adam Newton. We know that. Everybody you've heard, we talked about it with the drivers. Everybody's Adam Newton, Adam Newton. Of course it's Adam Newton. Just because he had, before the playoffs, well, even in the playoffs, he was our first full-time driver to get 2 wins, multiple wins. So I mean, just Adam Newton, the kind of season he's had. Yeah, Joey Stiers is a close second. We would all agree with that. Joey's had a run.
I agree.
I think both of them have a lot to learn. Jason Morales, I would probably.
He'd be my third. He'd be my third because
Well,
Tribute was already behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, and Tribute, I feel bad for him because he made it, last season. He didn't make it this season, so he had to experience the pressure building to go into that Talladega race and perform. It wasn't from a lack of effort from any of them. I mean, we put on a great show. I will say it again. That was probably one of the best races I've ever been a part of in NASRA. I know you hate super speedway racing. I hear it all the time from you, but that was a great race.
Wrecked out again. Hate it. It's the dumbest racing there is in the world, and I still. I'll save this for the final lap. You'll probably get mad at me for talking about this, but I think there's an important topic for the final lap to discuss. And it has to do with an EOL given out and then an appeal that went away I was not expecting. But moving on. Championship races. SimRacerHub.com Truck Series for the final season of the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Again, we announced last week on the show, DSR Electric will be taking over as the title sponsor for Season 3 of the Monday Night Series. Huge shout out to Dan Gobble. I believe that's the name. Owner of DSR Electric, his company coming on board. Huge shout out to Dan. So SimRacerHub.com Truck Series goes to Auto Club for the championship race. Will we continue to see a change of championship venues, or will we eventually find a permanent home for the title race for all of our NASRA series?
This was a tough one. And I'm going to so next season, Season 3, we're at Charlotte Motor Speedway, right?
Great pick.
Man, we've seen Charlotte. When I won the championship on Friday night, Season 3, it was at Charlotte. Keith Bradley, we do Charlotte, and he wins. We're going to do it, Season 3 on Monday nights. Charlotte Motor Speedway has put on some of the best racing I find in the trucks on Mondays and Fridays. That's exactly why it was picked for Season 3, just because of the Friday night series running there. Auto Club was kind of a mixed bag tricks, I would say. We wanted to find a track that was big enough to where you didn't necessarily run wide open every single lap, as sometimes you do at Auto Club. But at the same time, we want to see 2 and 3 wide racing at the same time. Obviously, we don't want to go to a super speedway track, but we do like where Talladega is as being the cutoff race. I would say that we thought about the Michigans, the Vegas, even though we've had Vegas before, Homestead that we've had before. I just don't think that Phoenix or like NASCAR goes to Phoenix. I don't think that would work. I don't think there's some mile and a halves that will work. We're going to give it a shot for Atlanta Motor Speedway, the old model on Friday nights, but it's slowly becoming to where Charlotte Motor Speedway is most likely going to become our annual championship race. I just think that the kind of racing that it puts on, it's a lot of strategy involved, and I just think it makes for a great show.
Yeah, so I'm gonna agree with you that I think Charlotte is the best option. I just want to race at Charlotte on Tuesday night in a series I run. Um, I think it's great racing. You can't run 3 and 4 wide open anymore, even on brand new tires in the trucks anymore. I think that makes for great racing. I'm okay with Vegas. I'm also good at Vegas, so of course I'm okay with it. I like Auto Club. I don't love Auto Club. And after watching last Friday's Truck Series race at Phoenix, honestly, I'd be okay with Phoenix for Truck Series only. I don't love it for if we were to go into a next gen or an Xfinity series, but I really think the trucks race there pretty well, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad option. Definitely cannot be Darlington or Kansas. For the love of God, Brady, never make those the championship races. They're single lane tracks. They're terrible.
Well, hey, I don't necessarily pick them on my own. Okay, I allow you guys to kind of help out. Well, the executives
Yeah,
do,
okay.
but hey, I mean, I don't pick it, but yeah, I like
You
it
and me
better.
should just pick a schedule and let no one else pick a schedule and see what happens.
I just don't. I don't want people to feel like it's biased towards me because there's been comments made that I make the schedule to fit my. Oh, yeah.
Excuse
There we go.
you, producer, chiming in our ear. I love road courses. I would pick 3 road courses if it was up to me. Also, I would not put it Vegas as the championship race because people would say I'm biased, so I'd have to avoid Vegas as a championship race. I'd make it a regular season race for fun. Um, but yeah, Brady, I think you and I could put together a pretty entertaining schedule. Maybe find a super speedway guy to chime in, just because an actual super speedway guy, not just you and me, because you know how I feel about it. Moving on.
Absolutely. Jesse Love is the next topic. In
Blech.
recent news, Jesse Love is being promoted to the Xfinity Series, driving for Richard Childress Racing in that number 2 car. How much success do you think he has next season, Tyler?
What's the goal here, right? Honestly, because we haven't seen Xfinity talent translate to the Cup Series. We really haven't seen truck talent translate to the Cup Series. All 3 series right now, I think, drive extremely different from each other. Furthermore, Jesse Love's success in the ARCA Menard Series is 100% predicated on the fact that the ARCA Menard Series has 2 competitive cars in it each week, and they're both JGR or Venturi, JGR supporting Venturi Motorsports cars. Frankie Muniz finished 4th in ARCA Menard Series points with an unsponsored car in 5 races for a team that is nowhere near as talented as Venturini Motorsports. 4th in points. The ARCA Menard Series is a joke. Tony Bredinger finished 7th in ARCA Menard's points while missing 4 races. 4. She missed 4 races. It's not a competitive series anymore, Brady. If you worked for Venturini and you have some backing from JGR, the top 2 Venturini Motorsports cars are super fast, and that's how it's going to be. He is blown out of proportion. Do I think he could be a big talent? Sure. Why are we jumping him straight into Xfinity Series? One, ARCA does not drive anything like the Xfinity Series does right now. ARCA is based off of the Gen 6 car body-wise, has a lot of downforce, really drives, I would argue, more similar to a truck or maybe the next gen Cup Series, the next gen car, than it does the Xfinity Series. Love's going to struggle. Sheldon Creed leaving RCR is a tragedy, in my opinion. I think Sheldon Creed was there. That's a big deal. So that's how I feel about Jesse Love. I don't even know what the question was. How much success does he have? Probably not any. I mean, JGR is going to be super talented. We're going to be surprised with what roster they put out next season, I think, in our
Do you
opinion.
think he even makes the playoffs?
No, not a chance in heck. Hell, whatever. I don't know if we're allowed to swear or what our limitation is here. Oh, great. Jesse's from California, Cody. Thanks for making me not like him even more. Great, Keith. He's a hell of a dirt racer. Sure. He had no competition in ARCA. We'll see. I doubt he makes the playoffs.
I'm actually going to have to agree with you on this, Tyler. It was kind of interesting because we were not hearing whether or not Sheldon Creed would come back to the number 2. There was a lot of tension between the 21 of Austin Hill teammates racing throughout the playoffs in the Xfinity Series this season. Not saying that that played a role or not, but it was just kind of interesting to see that, Sheldon Creed gets out of the car, and then Jesse Love is announced as the driver. It was just why? Like, I'm not saying Jesse Love doesn't
Shocking.
deserve the ride, but it just I don't see him making the playoffs. I don't see him even come close to winning a race. If he gets a top 5, that might actually be a win for himself. But no, I don't see him having much success, and I was actually surprised that Richard Childress made this move.
RCR is making a lot of strange moves recently. I love the Kyle Busch move because Austin Dillon is never going to be the leader they want him to be, and that's fine. And we're going to go a little bit more on this tangent because I have some really strong feelings about the whole Jesse Love situation. If you couldn't tell, Brady, I got really fired up when I saw that topic. I was immediately mad. I don't know why, but I was. Yeah. Anyways, we need to move on. Martinsville. Let's talk about Martinsville and the NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity Series. Both go to Martinsville to determine their Championship 4 drivers. Who do you see making the Championship 4 real quick, just for you? Xfinity, the only guy currently locked in is Sam Mayer by winning last week, although John Hunter Nemechek has like a 50 or 45-point cushion, essentially locked in. Cup-wise, Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson are both locked in. Only 2 options there. William Byron is plus 30. But really, the battle is for the last 2 spots because you have Cole Custer plus 3, Austin Hill plus 3, Justin Allgaier minus 3 coming into the Xfinity Series race at Martinsville.
So I'm going to stay consistent because I went out on a limb not knowing much about what was going on in the Xfinity Series as far as points and, spots or whatnot. I said it last week. Sam Mayer gets in. What does Sam Mayer do? I didn't pick him. I picked Justin Allgaier.
Yeah, you didn't pick him to win, by the way.
But hey, Sam Mayer threw me a bone. He's locked into the Final Four.
Did help you.
Of course, I'm going to stick with that. I picked John Hunter Nemechek. I picked Cole Custer and Justin Allgaier. Yeah. So those 2 are locked in. Cole Custer, he's going to make it. Justin Allgaier, I believe, is going to leapfrog us. Austin Hill, you went sideways on me last week whenever I was like, yeah, Austin Hill doesn't make it. I don't think Austin Hill makes it. I don't think Martinsville fits to his driving style. I don't think it's going to be a great track for him. It fits the narrative of Cole Custer, Justin Allgaier. I think they both do what they need to do, not necessarily win the race, but I do think that they do what they need to do to make it in. So I think that's my 4 drivers. Austin Hill does not make it. The guy that's going to win the race, John Hunter Nemechek. I think he's going to get it done. They always run well there, Martinsville. I mean,
you got 20 seconds to do Cup, by the way.
Oh well, okay. Cup side, okay. Christopher Bell's in, Larson. I think Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex still make it. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Bell's in. Oh, Bell leapfrogged. Oh wow.
Yeah,
so
Bell
that messed
won.
up my. So Bell ruined my championship 4 because I had Denny and Truex in there. Byron gets in, so I think it's going to be between Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin. I say Denny leapfrogs, Ryan Blaney gets in, Ryan Blaney gets knocked out. I actually think Denny Hamlin wins the race and gets in, but I still think William Byron gets in.
So you have Denny Hamlin. So I guess one.
So it's still going to be Hendricks versus Joe Gibbs Racing. The only pick that I was really wrong about was instead of me having Morton Truex get in, Christopher Bell is going to take that spot. So that's the spot that I was wrong.
All right. Well, Cody gave you an extra 40 seconds. So if you want to go,
I gave him $2. I gave him $2.
Oh, okay. All right. So Xfinity, Mayer, Hunter Nemechek, both in. Hunter Nemechek's not getting passed on points. Allgaier gets in on points. Sammy Smith finished second here at Martinsville in the spring. He's minus 50. He wins the race, gets in. I know. Wow. I'm going. Yep. Sammy Smith wins. He's a short track expert. He wins the race and gets in. I'm calling it now. Cup, Bell, Larson are in. Byron gets in on points. He's plus 30. He's the safe one. One driver will probably win. I'm actually saying Byron probably wins the race. Reddick comes in minus 10. Hamlin's minus 17. Reddick minus 10. Reddick did the tire test back here in June or July. I think Tyler Reddick gets in on points. 23-11 gets a championship 4 driver.
Wow. Okay, interesting.
I know. Bold take.
Bold take. Okay.
That's a pretty bold. Reddick getting in is a bold take.
Yeah. Well, both of them. I mean, the Sammy Smith blew me out the water. But
How is that?
anyways,
He finished second in the spring.
yeah.
He won
But
at
still,
Phoenix. He's a flat track expert.
wow, wow, just wow.
Whatever.
Anyways, next topic. It's what if. Name one moment from each. I'm gonna get to that. But name one what if moment back in time that you would personally like to have seen for Nazra and NASCAR. One what if moment each.
So Keith's in the chat, so I know he's watching. So he'll really appreciate my what if moment for Nazra. My what if moment for Nazra is me not hitting the wall at Bristol and taking us both out of the championship 4 that would have taken place at Las Vegas. Because that means Keith either gets his title sooner or I get my title. I mean, that was going to happen. My wheel, yes, I know my wheel failed at Vegas in the championship race. I was leading and then I ended up in the wall during a caution because my wheel just reset itself. I'm hoping that the wheel doesn't reset itself and I don't take out Keith at Bristol. We both go in. We both race each other for the title at Vegas. And that would be the biggest what if moment. Keith either has his title sooner or I have my title, and I'd be happy as could be just doing the podcast and broadcasting. And I probably wouldn't race that much, to be quite honest. My NASCAR what if moment, and this is going to be me being a homer. I grew up a Dale Jr. fan. So I have two really for NASCAR. 2004, he doesn't get fined for saying don't mean shit, daddy's won here 10 times at Talladega, and he wins the title. Matt Kenseth, not deserving of a championship, and I will die on that hill. Or in 2014, Dale Jr. won the Daytona 500, swept at Pocono, and won at Martinsville. He had 20 top 10s, one of the best drivers that season. If he would have won the title that year, I also would have been very happy with it. So those are my what ifs. Is Junior not winning a title really in general would have helped his case and the whole NASCAR grand scheme of things. Obviously, he is a Hall of Famer. He's already been inducted to the Hall of Fame, but it would have made it an even easier slam dunk if he was a champion in NASCAR. And again, me and Keith getting our championship sooner would have been my other NASCAR what if.
And I would like to bring this up because I saw this on Facebook before I say mine, but I want to hear some of the guys in the chat. Tell us your what if moments in NASCAR or NASRA. Mine is making the Bristol race. If you remember, I was out of town on business and I drove in Friday night, thought about racing, took a nap, didn't wake up for the race. So I didn't race in that Bristol race. I would have had enough points to make it to the final 4, and I
You
missed
missed
out
a
on
barn
racing for
burner.
a championship at Vegas. So that's my what if moment if I would have ran that race. Because once you and Keith wrecked, it wrecked out most of the field. I would have just rode around making a top 10 and I would have made
Keith
it.
and I were the
So,
only ones in that wreck.
no, there was a bigger wreck. They had more people in that wreck.
Oh, that was a
Yeah,
different wreck. Keith and I
yeah,
were in our own wreck.
yeah. My NASCAR what if moment would have been, and I'm a little biased right now, is if Ray Evernham and Jeff Gordon would have stayed together longer. I would have liked to have
Ooh.
seen if they would have won at least 5, 6, maybe 7 championships. You never know. But I would have liked to have seen Ray, instead of going to Dodge, stick with Jeff Gordon, and I mean, he ends up back at Hendrick as like a
Yeah.
VP position where he would have ended up being anyways.
Yep.
But yeah, I would have loved to have seen them stay together longer. Another
Yeah.
one, yeah, of course you can talk about the Davy Allisons, the Dale
Ooh.
Seniors. I'm actually, if you're picking two, my second one would be if Davy Allison would have never passed away in the helicopter crash at Talladega, because
Yeah.
I think Davy Allison would have been a 50+ win, 2 to 3 championships. That takes championships away from Jeff Gordon. So those two would be my big what ifs.
Yeah, and honestly, we could even expand that further. What if Fireball Roberts didn't pass away in that one incident he had? Would he have been a 40+ win driver? Would he have set records? Would he have won multiple championships and even taken away from some of Petty's titles? Really, some great. What if Dale Sr. didn't pass away in the 2001 Daytona 500? What does DEI still exist today? That's a great point to bring up as well. Really, there's some great. Adam Newbert brings. What about Tim Richmond? What if Tim Richmond never passes away? Does he become a Cup champion? I say yes. I think he's one of the best talents ever to come into NASCAR. What if Zach's win actually came? If not the fast guys wrecked out, would he probably have been taken more seriously? Yeah, if he would have had to pass me, Keith, maybe his win would be taken seriously. But he didn't because I was in the infield. So I'm glad we got all of that off of our chest. That was a fun thing. Ooh, our producer's gonna chime one in my ear. Unless he's gonna say it. Oh, he just chime one in my ear. But our producer's got it, or he can type it up and we'll bring it up.
That was a fun question. That was a fun one.
I really enjoyed that. Thank you for doing that, by the way, Keith. Not Keith, Brady. Holy crap. I'm reading so many Keith's comments that I just said on accident.
No, you're good.
Who hit the barrels better, Larson or Brady LaBeouf? Oh, God.
Oh, I think Larson did because I didn't get the full effect with the sand going up in the air.
Like, I know Blaney was probably a little bit too slow, and Larson probably would have. I mean, to be fair, DBC says that. DBC did say that there's no way Larson would have made pit road speed. So maybe the NBC speed graphic was wrong, but based on what they saw with their data they have access to, that TJ likes to call the data, Larson would not have made pit road speed anyways. So good topic. Ooh, Bradley's NASCAR. What if Neil Bonnet never died? That's a good one. Probably be a many time winner. We got to move on. That's a great question. I want to revisit this one day, Keith, in a future. Or Brady. God bless America. Keith, stop commenting. Holy crap. He's really messing with me. We need to visit that in a future podcast for sure. We do need to get to our next two drivers, which is really just Nathan and then you. So that's kind of boring. Future of Nazareth. Let's talk about this. Sorry, Brady. Future Nazareth. Nazareth's had two very successful truck series on Monday and Fridays and run special events from time to time. Will we see a new series emerge? And what are the odds of a road racing series? Maybe even an open wheel series?
Oh, man. I would love
I love
to do
open wheel
it.
racing, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I texted you this the other day is I would love to have an IndyCar series, not even a money series, just one.
I don't even want an IndyCar series. I want like a slower open, like skippies, like something standing start, super slow, just like easy to drive.
What?
No,
well,
not Formula V. I'd rather have Formula 4 than Formula V.
But it's something like, along the lines of having open wheel where it kind of flip flops, right? Like we run 25 weeks, there's 23 ovals, there's 2 road courses. Have a series, an open wheel series that runs, say, 10 road courses and 2 ovals or 3 ovals, flip flop it.
Yeah, you could run the Indy Lights cars.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to do that, and it could just be a free league. Might even be able to get some sponsorship and broadcast it.
Yeah.
But I really, really, I'm dying. I'm trying my hardest. I'm going to announce it pretty soon. Wednesdays, we've been trying to recruit. There's just nobody racing on Wednesday nights. We tried last night.
There's a lot of series that run
8
on
o'clock.
Wednesdays.
Yeah, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. We tried. We wasted money. We wasted time. There's just nobody out there on Wednesday nights. We're gonna kind of flip flop maybe to Tuesday nights and try to get an Xfinity series going. I think we need an Xfinity series.
Xfinity cars.
We need to have one. We need an Xfinity series. It just needs to happen. We're gonna try the next 3 weeks. I'm gonna be recruiting. We're gonna try to give it a go on Tuesday nights with the Xfinity cars.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be a lot of fun. I think a slow, low horsepower open wheel series like the Formula Fords would be a lot of fun. Maybe even the F4s. I think the best would be the Indy Lights though, because you could do ovals on the Indy Lights pretty easily, and then you run like American road courses because there's a lot of great American road courses. You have Sebring, Road America, all of that. I heard rumors potentially Super Speedway series, like a 10-week old school points Super Speedway series, no stages, none of that, no playoffs, just 10 weeks, rip them, run what you got. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Honestly, there's so much good racing in iRacing. I've gotten big into the Formula Fords. I love the pro off-road trucks. I think those are a blast in iRacing. There's really a lot that's been a lot of fun recently. So there's some good stuff I hope we expand to, but it's hard. I agree. It's definitely hard to get new interest when there's already more established leagues.
Absolutely. But it's not from a lack of trying, I can tell you that.
No, it's definitely not. We tried an IMSA series, just couldn't get enough numbers. We had enough interest, I think, maybe to do a GT series, but not enough to do it multi-class. We tried. It just hasn't worked yet.
Yeah. So my final question, this is my final question, right? Yeah, it's my final question.
Finally. We got there.
The topic is Jeff Merrick, Keith Bradley, and Stephen Thomas.
God.
You cannot pick any of these three drivers to win the Friday Night Cups Truck Series Championship.
You suck.
So who are you taking and why?
Okay, so I legitimately thought about this, and Keith Brass says, "Yeah, Cody, I love you." No, Keith said NASCAR Rallycross Series would be sweet. I don't like Rallycross. I like the trucks; they're more fun. Um, yeah. Anyways, so two drivers, like I narrowed it down to Brady. It's Joey Doucette, who's competing for the Monday title, but he is a full timer on Fridays as well. Joey Doucette running double duty, or Ashley Dodson. And you know what? I wrote down Joey, but man, even though it's old Atlanta and Ashley's not been the best on mile and a halfs, I looked at the Kansas results to kind of help determine because I wanted, or Kentucky, old Kentucky, because I wanted a car, I wanted a track similar that had tire wear that didn't have, the ability to go flat out the entire track, even on fresh tires, which you really can't do as much on the old Atlanta. You kind of can, but not really. I was like, man, Joey's the better pick here. But you know what? Something about Ashley. He's just so consistent. He runs clean races. He doesn't make the big mistakes. He's super smart in how he races. I think Ashley Dodson would be my fourth. But I hate that you gave me this question because I would pick one of the other three in actuality.
Well, that's a great pick. And if you wouldn't have picked him, that's who I was going to take. But I'm going to be different. I'm not going to take Ashley because you took him, even
So
though I
proud of you.
think that he would, probably
I think
be
he would.
the fourth best driver or third best driver. You could argue. But
Ooh.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. And I thought about this mile and a half, old Atlanta. He's been there, he's been close. Robbie Richards.
Ooh.
Robbie Richards could go into old Atlanta and win that race and win the championship. He's just been close. He just comes to mind. If you say Robbie's in the championship six and Jeff wrecks out, Keith blows up, Stephen Thomas pit road speed penalty, who's the next best driver that's going to win? I'm picking Robbie Richards.
Yeah, I mean, considering that he's won at Homestead in the past, not a bad pick. That's a big tire wear track. So I don't hate that. I really don't. Anyways, my final question, because we need to get moving on to our Nathan Maurer and you interview. Silly season. Some major moves are being made in the soon-to-be DSR Electric Truck Series on Mondays. What moves so far are the most surprising, and what moves will be the most costly to a driver or team?
Ooh, man. This I kind of read this one earlier and I was like, man, he's trying to hit me hard. Um, so we've had a lot of changes. You see guys like this is when we start talking about the next season as we do around playoff time and we start getting and people start scrambling and trying to renew teams and make new teams because they see fast guys that they ran with and they're like, I don't want to compete against them anymore. I want to race with them.
Yeah,
Um, I think Highline will not be back-to-back team champion next season. I
that's
think
fair.
I think Highline takes a step back, especially with you demoting yourself to port time.
Does not help them.
I think Swim is the biggest winner out of all of them because they got so tired of getting their butt kicked this year that they had to go out and make a super team, which they got uh, Nathan Maurer, Justin White, Adam Newton, Joey Stiers, and I can't
And
think of the fifth, Brian Shoes,
And
the
that's
fifth
the
driver.
team. And that's the team that Dan Gobbles is attached to, the title sponsor for the
Yeah.
league. So
So
how much money is he putting into this?
I'm not sure. I know he's the to be the title sponsor. He's going to come on board and help me out with the consolation playoffs payouts. So
Okay.
I don't have to take from the big pot. So like
Okay.
this season, I took from the big pot. I did like a 75-25 split, and that's why you have the $125 for 21st place that we
Yeah,
really didn't touch on. Maybe we can touch on, but maybe we could
I
talk
think
about that in the
that's
final
a
lap.
good fast. That's a good
Uh,
final lap topic.
but he's going to come out and help me on board. So anywhere from $300 to $400 is what he's talking about putting up for this series. So,
Damn.
I mean, we appreciate it. I mean, I'm gonna put up, $50 to $100 of my own money, and hopefully
Yeah.
we can expand it to where it's 21st to 25th gets paid out. It's just
Yeah.
a separate playoff. I know there's opinions about it, but at the end of the day, if we don't have 21 through 40 show up, we
Yep.
don't really have much of
They
a
make the
show.
lead.
So
I
so
agree.
yeah,
You and I've had
uh,
this talk.
yeah, and so yeah, Dan's gonna help out with that. I mean, it's really great. You don't have to even really beg for it. He came to me and with the idea of, hey, how can I help out? How can I get him more involved? I told him that's how he was on board with it. I appreciate it. M1, I'm excited about M1. Jacob
I don't even know
Reeves,
what your team is.
Robbie Richards, Brady LaBeouf. I mean, just to name a handful. But I
Yeah, you're
mean,
so
it's just
talented.
yeah, I am. Warriors changing. They're adding Lance
A lot of
Miller.
changes.
So I mean, we got we got upfront coming to Mondays. So
Yeah, so I
it's
want to talk
just
about that. I
it's
want to talk
just
about that. This has really not become the hot lap, so we've just gotten into like more of a first take thing at this point. Up front, Chris Blanchard leaves Highline Racing to lead up front for Monday nights starting next season. I believe I can't remember John Jet. Help me, it's a
John
J name.
Hendrick, John Hendrick,
John
Hendrick.
Hendrick taking Hedrick, not Hendrick. Hedrick. John Hedrick taking a step back. I do remember his last name for some reason. Blanchard will lead that team on Mondays. It's gonna be different, right? I want to say Cole Henriksen coming in for Highline Racing is a very talented driver. I've raced with him in other series. I know he has talent. Do I think he can replace the output that I've provided? No, but I also think very highly of myself. But Warrior will be very competitive with, Lance Miller coming over. Kerry Tribute also is going to Highline Racing. That's a big name. I think we don't discuss enough too. Kerry Tribute is moving to Highline. So it's not like they're just
Yeah, and I
yeah,
mean,
Jesse Triggs coming into the series. We got a lot of new drivers coming in.
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things changing that I think is going to make for very competitive racing in the Monday Night Series. And I hope we talk about this in the Monday Night Series season preview show that we do right
Oh,
before
we
week one.
definitely, and that's what I
And
was going to
we'll
bring
get
up,
more
Tyler.
in depth.
That's what I was going to bring up. We could talk about this for 20 minutes because Highside
Yeah.
Hustlers Motorsports, we haven't even
Yeah,
talked
brand
about
new
them.
team.
Red Line is being rebranded, and they've got
Keith Bradley called them No Line, by the way.
well, no line, but I mean, it's going to be a revamped team. So I mean, there's going to be
Warriors gonna
at
be
least
fast.
9 to 10 teams that are going to be
Have drivers
competitive.
win races.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it's going to be fun. I'm ready for it. I mean, obviously, we want to get through the championship race, but we definitely need to talk about this the next podcast, the preview for season
Yeah.
3.
We need to bring in Nate Maurer so we can talk about this, and then we can move on to the final laps. Let's bring in Nate Maurer, the driver of the 971 for Brute Force Motorsports. Brady, you've been here the entire time. I don't need to introduce you. Number 24 for Mission 1 Esports. If you want to pop down again, I can introduce you again. But now we got 971. Oh, there's Brady LaBeouf, number 24 for Mission 1 Esports, and 971, Nate Maurer. I believe you're from Pennsylvania, Nate, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. I remember because you talked about when I was broadcasting how much you wanted to win Pocono, and then you got wrecked out in like lap 20 or something.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but I'm sure that probably happened.
Oh, that was season 1. You got hooked into the fence when I was.
Oh
still
yeah, by
broadcasting.
Kerry. Yeah, by Kerry. Then next season I was teammates with him. I had to like him.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yep.
Now, well, Nate, let's talk about your season. Your one win coming early on at Kansas, holding off Cody Knott and myself on fresher tires. Great restart by you at the end in the green-white checkered. But I got to say, this is the most impressive stat for me. You are the only driver in the Championship 6 with an average finish in the single digits, an 8.9 average finish. You have 11 top 5s and 14 top 10s. I mean, the next closest amount of top 10s is Hunter Parsons with 10, and then myself with 9, and I'm not even in the Championship 6. So, Nate, how have you viewed this season? Only one win, but really, really strong performances every week.
Yeah. I just remember the other week after Hunter Parsons won, they were ripping and raving on him how he's the favorite to win the championship because he has so many top 5s and top 10s. Like, I wonder how many top 5s and top 10s I have.
Drama. This is what I came for. I'm glad you're on here now.
I was like, Why are they riding him so hard right now? I'm like, I got 2 less races and have more top 5 and top 10s than him. I'm like, hop off of him. Whatever. They gotta do it because he won the race. I understand that. Consistency, man. Like these guys always go balls to the walls in the beginning of the runs and everything. I just kind of just sit back and just I don't know. I don't race the other drivers, man. People know when they get behind me and they're faster than me, I let them go. And then, but I'm kind of starting not to be as lenient with that because when I let people go, especially like what's Luis Rivera, I forget what his first name is. I just call him Luis. But
Jose.
Jose, yeah. That guy, oh my God. I let him go because he burns his tires up so quick. And then, like, I catch him, from 2 seconds back, and then he wants to act like he's 10 times the size of Ryan Newman and won't let me around him. But, yeah, it's just consistency, I guess. I don't know. I went through a rough patch there for about 3 months in the middle of this year, and I slowly got back up to where I feel like I'm finishing now where I'm supposed to be finishing at. But I did not know my average finish was in the single digits. It's kind of surprising to me. I feel like I did not finish in the top 10 that much, but no, it's a cool stat to know.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thoroughly impressed with your season, even racing against you. I always comment, you're always finishing well, right? You may not, like you talked about, run great in maybe a stage or whatever, but you're always there at the end, and that's kind of what matters, and that's super important. But obviously, Joey has 2 wins coming into this championship race. You only have the one at Kansas. How do you see yourself kind of shaping up into this championship race? And how do you change that mindset from, stages really don't matter at all for the championship 6 drivers. Really, it's just all about finishing position. How do you take those, 11 top 5s and turn it into potentially a race win? Because I think that's what you're going to have to do to win the title.
I agree. I think one of the championship's 6 drivers are going to win the race Monday. Joey just got hot at the right time. I mean, Joey's on a hot streak right now. I mean, I went on a hot streak season 1 to where it was pretty much either me or Adam Newton, not Adam Newton, Adam Newbert winning races.
Newbert, yep.
And then I kind of cooled down for a while, and then championship race came around. I thought I was going to do pretty good, but Blake Luthien was blocking the crap out of me, and I put myself into the wall. I was aggravated at myself. I don't know. Yeah, like you said, stages don't matter. Stages never matter to me, honestly. I just kind of see what I got to do, progress myself better through the race. I think it might have been this season in New Hampshire. Like I sucked in New Hampshire again racing, and then I think it was Brady. It was Brady. It was either this season or last season. I just take all race to try to make myself better. What I can do differently. I use the first 2 stages as learning experiences pretty much, and then take that what I learned and go into the final stage. And my teammate Justin White, usually what we do is I love working with Justin White. Justin White is my favorite iRacing teammate. We've been together for years. He'll be rolling the bottom, well, especially at the mile and a half. He'll be rolling the bottom, and I'll be just kind of running middle high, and we're kind of compare each other's tires there at the end of the stage, and we'll figure out what we got to do there towards the end. I mean, Justin White, the drive that he did over the past 2 weeks he had to do to get into the championship 6 was amazing. I didn't think he was going to make it. I didn't tell him that, but I can't believe he made it in. But no, it's just I don't know. I'm not even going to practice. I'm not going to practice at all for Monday night. I'll get on probably around 8 o'clock and go from there, and hopefully be there at the end to finish. My goal is top 3. I don't need to win. I just want to finish top 3, and I'll be happy because this season the competition. I was looking the other day at everybody that won. I mean, I don't think anybody's won more than 2 races, right?
Other than Blake Lothian, part-timer, yeah. No one won more than 2 races.
Okay, well, he don't count. He's he's a real life guy. But
yeah.
But I mean, the competition this season is amazing. I felt like last season it was usually either me or Adam Newbert.
Yeah.
But then you got the guys that are right there. But now this season, I feel like there's a lot of the guys that were there last season are better than me this season. Then again, they're probably racing more than me. I only race like once a week anymore. So I got to hop in though in the Friday night series and I had fun. I felt like I finished 3rd there, my first race there all season. And that felt good to do that, going racing against guys I don't ever race against. And I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and Nathan, you kind of mentioned you're kind of just going to hop in at 8 o'clock. Is that kind of you treat every race weekend and just not trying to do anything different? Get in, do what you've been doing all along, and just hope that that I guess really the habit kind of pays off in the long run.
Yeah, I think some people think too hard about it. You know, they're practice, 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 and they're getting to the session, and the racetrack does not act like their practice session, and they don't know what to do. Um, I forget what track we are at a couple weeks ago. Was it Bristol or I forget where we were, but the track was not taking rubber at all, and the track was terrible. But I feel like some people were probably practicing in hotter weather, and the track was taking rubber, and the track did not race anything like they thought it would when it came to race time.
Brady, any question? Oh, I guess Brady. Now, I guess I have to interview you. This is a weird thing for me. I forgot you're the other championship six driver, Brady LaBeouf. Let's talk about you this season. 1 pole, 1 win, 4 top 5s, 10 top 10s, 14th average finish. You know, I mean, kind of similar to Joey Doucette and Lance Miller with your average finish. When you've been successful, you've been really successful, but when you've struggled, we've seen you kind of slip back in the field. How do you approach, and how's your season been compared to what you were expecting and approaching this race on Monday?
I think I've underachieved, especially in the regular season. Just races not going my way, or people, it's. I mean, we had about 20 people that returned members from season one, and so we've had more than half the field, new drivers to get used to, like guys like Joey Stiers, Adam Newton, those guys, just to name a few. But yeah, I mean, it was really a grind the whole season. I won Homestead, but I wasn't. Nate and Robbie were the fastest guys there, teammates wrecking each other, so they kind of threw me a bone and let me win that race. The only race that I felt like I should have won was Darlington. I've had
Yeah,
I
buddy.
had I had the pedal issues, and to this day, I still don't understand what happened. But I'm pressing the pedal down to the floor, and I'm getting 85%.
Yeah.
But I felt like that race got away from me. I should have won that race. Love Darlington. I felt like I was the best truck there. Um, in Chicagoland, yeah, I ran great. But I don't think I had anything for Joey at the end. I think he was the fastest truck. But I kind of came into the playoffs. I was actually, me and Nathan were tied for, I want to say, the 11th and 12th seed. We only had 3 playoff
Yeah.
points each, and just because I got the win at
Just
Homestead
from
was the
your
only reason
wins.
why.
Yeah.
And so I really had to kind of climb my way. I mean, below the cut line, I think, in the second round. So I had to kind of, be more aggressive, I would say, than I was used to, and just kind of, qualify well, get stage points, don't get any EOLs, kind of stay out of trouble. Because I think that's what hurt a lot of the guys that we were racing against, getting EOLs and not being able to qualify or having to do pass through penalties. So, but the round of 10, I probably, out of all the drivers, besides, well, I mean, if you include Joey's Talladega race, I think I had the best round of 10 out of any driver,
I'd agree.
Chicagoland, Talladega. So yeah, I mean, it was easy to, you know I wouldn't say it's easy to make it, but I had a better shot of making it because of my Chicagoland race.
Yeah, I do want to talk one about the Darlington race because you both had great runs there, and well, ironically, the guy who wins the race is me. I think it was an interesting race, really, for both of you. Talking about adversity, right? Because Brady, you were fast early on, but you had those pedal issues that kept hampering you. Nate, you had it all the way until Joey kind of runs you over and you run out of gas at the same time, kind of situation. And then I want to talk about your round of 10 runs, right? Nate, you just kind of being somewhat consistent throughout. Not a great Chicagoland, but a really solid Talladega race. And Brady, I mean, you were the only driver who didn't have one bad race of the round of 10. You had 2 very solid races. So, Nate, we'll start with you. First, talk about Darlington, how that affected your round of 14, and then talk about what your mindset was going into Talladega.
Yeah, my Darlington race. I know Brady said he feels like he was the best truck there.
I
I run my
was. I was. I
I
don't feel like it. I was.
I run my stint analyzer, and after 10 laps, I would slowly catch. I mean, he'd get out there a little bit, but then I slowly catching him. But then again, I wait till the last stage, to show what I got. I wish I could have been up there battling with him if his pedals wouldn't have took a crap on him. But I'm not good at the whole fuel thing. I could have went around one more lap there. Um, before my final pit stop, and I would have had enough to the end. And yeah, it was. I didn't want to come over the comms and tell Joey I was going to run out of gas. You know, they don't do that in real life. I ain't going to come over the computer and tell him I'm going to run out of gas. That's
Yep.
that's up to him to get around me. I mean, I felt
Then went
bad.
through you.
Yeah, he went through me, and I'm glad he did because I still got second. but but no, I mean it was a fun race. I love that track. It's definitely a driver track. I mean,
Yep.
you had your better drivers up front. I don't know where Hunter was. But everybody else. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
When you pitted on lap 108, we all said Nate is not making it. We were
I
like,
said the
what
same
is he
thing. Not gonna
doing?
lie, I said the same thing. I was like, "There's no way he makes it."
Nope, you
Um,
guys were right.
yeah. Well, Nate, talk about your Talladega race, right? You didn't have necessarily the greatest run at Chicagoland. Talk about your mindset going into that race and how you're gonna change it coming into Auto Club.
My mindset on Talladega.
Yep.
Uh, well, honestly, I didn't think I made it to the round of six. I got no stage points. Justin White won, I think, both stages or one of the stages.
First stage.
I,
Yep.
I thought I was done because I got no stage points and I was only +7 going in, and I'm not aggressive at all in those super speedways until the very end. And I didn't know what to do. I thought I didn't think I was gonna make it to the final six. I just thought I'd stay in the back, and I thought there were gonna be stages. I was praying all day when Brandon Broadfoot said that he's probably not gonna be racing, and then he said his woman might let him race. I said, dude, you need to be there. You need chaos. I need chaos to happen up front. And he showed up,
Don't
but
worry,
he
he
was.
didn't cause the chaos.
I know
mean,
he didn't. I was very upset with him. You know, after the second stage, I'm like, dude, you need
Hey,
to be up there to wreck some guys.
I would say Adam Newton took care of that for you.
I know he did. Him and Joey,
Stiers,
yeah,
2 of them.
Stiers, both good buddies of mine. I raced with Joey for 3 years now, and yeah, I don't know what happened there. Yeah, I have my opinion. I'll keep it to myself. But yeah, I didn't think I was gonna make it. I just stayed in the back too long. I should have tried fighting for some stage points. I know Brady was up there. He got stage point. I just thought I was done. But I'm just glad that we barely squeaked in somehow to the round of six. And I'm not going to be laying back because I don't even know where is the championship race? Auto Club, maybe? Auto Club?
Yep. Auto Club.
I'm a terrible qualifier there. I know last season I qualified outside the top 10. I got to work on my qualifying there, and hopefully I can stay up front and not going to just ride around the back. I got to be aggressive all race and see what happens.
Brady, talk about your Darlington and Talladega experiences.
Well, Darlington, I mean, just the whole pedal issue of you pressing the pedal to get the throttle pedal, and it's 83, 85% full throttle, and the brake pedal trying to push it to the floor and only showing 23%, which really hindered me, especially getting down pit road for the green flag pit stop. Whenever I pushed it down, I just slid into the barrel. So my race was over, but I knew I had enough points because I ran so well at Milwaukee. So it didn't really matter if I finished that race or not because of my stage points at Darlington. So just take it. I was actually out of town on business. So I was actually running in Kentucky instead of Louisiana physically. So maybe that played a part in traveling with my equipment. Who knows? But
Maybe.
shifting gears to Talladega was 20 points to the good. Knew that if I got maybe, I don't know, I think I calculated 5 to 8 points in each stage. Well, for most stages, as long as I got about 5 or 8 points, depending on what the other guys did, I felt like I could probably finish top 15, top 20, and kind of coast my way in. But you never know with these things. You never know the outcome. You never know. I was trying to, with a notebook, I was trying to keep track of who got stage points. And I want to say
Yeah.
there was only 4 or 5 of us that really got stage points in the first stage. And then looking at the second stage, I knew right then and there it was game over. I was like, okay, well, I've got to be locked in with 17 stage points plus 20. That's 37, only 31 trucks in the field. There's no way that I can get knocked out of this thing. So I'm just going to go for broke and try to win it at that point. So we kind of got spread out with green flag pit stops. We had to make 2 during that final stage. So, but arguably, these past 5 races, If you include Milwaukee Mile, Rockingham, Darlington, Chicagoland, Talladega, and
Up
now we head
track.
to Auto Club. Um, I've had arguably probably one of the 5 best weeks, and I don't think laying back, racing against Jose Luis Rivera and some of those other mid-pack guys and letting them go and then catching them in 2 seconds is going to work with the 5 best guys. You're racing against 5 other guys who deserve to be here, and I don't think laying back. Justin and Nate's going to have to change the way they drive because you're not going to see. You're going to have to deal with Hunter. You're going to have to deal with Joey. You're going to have to deal with myself, Lance
You're going
Miller.
to deal with Adam
So
Newton, who's pissed
yeah,
off.
Adam Newton. Yeah, just Newbert, Newton. You're going to have to deal with a lot of people just to get by. So I think, it kind of plays into a little bit of our favor if you kind of, now, yeah, you don't have to worry about stage 1 points, stage 2 points. None of that matters. And all that matters is beating the other 5 guys. But, Nate and I had the privilege, we're the only two that, have made it 2 years in a row. So we
Yeah.
kind of have some experience in this race. But it's different whenever you're racing against 3 people and now you got to race against 5 others. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I had a lot of fun at Talladega. I'd like to do that again.
I'm glad you had fun because I certainly did not, and I think super speedway racing's stupid. Nate,
Mhm.
I'm going to ask you this question. We're going to combine questions since we're running a little bit late. Sorry, we haven't stuck with the schedule we gave you. But one, who is your biggest surprise getting eliminated in the round of 10 out of Adam Newton, Kerry Tribute, Jason Morales, and Joey Styres? Who are you happy got eliminated in that round of those 4 drivers? And then, yeah, we'll just start with those 2 questions.
Well, it's going to be the same person for both those questions. It'd be Joey Styres. Like I said, I've raced with him 3 or 4 years, and nobody really knows how good he is. He is really good. I think he's still getting used to people, that he has to race around in here. And I know in the beginning of the season he got an EOL or 2, and I just reminded him, Joey, don't make a bad name for yourself. You're better than what you just did. He's very good. He stole many champion. I should. We raced in a couple other leagues together, and he's good. He stole a couple championships away from me, and I'm glad he's not there because I feel like, yeah, he's definitely just he's good. He's real good. I'm not trying to bribe him up or anything, but compared to everybody else that's in the championship 6 this season, he would probably be. He's good auto club. He'd be the one I'd be really really scared of. But but I'm also surprised that Luis Rivera did not make it though either because he would have had a really. I think he would have made it if he wouldn't have at Darlington. He was kind of slow in the long run, and me and Justin got behind him, and I was like, Justin, we got to keep going. We can't be stuck behind this guy forever. And Justin tried getting around him. He couldn't, so then I got around him, and I think he wrecked then after that. I don't really know what happened. And I really think he would have made it to this round of 6 if he just would have let me and Justin go instead of trying to defend his position. But it would have been cool to see him make it though. But somebody, I wouldn't say new, but I mean the guys that are in the final 6, I think, are pretty much the guys that you would expect to be in the final 6.
Yeah, a driver that was knocked out in the round of 14, Jose Luis Rivera, getting a shout out there from Nathan Maurer. Brady LaBeouf, who's the biggest disappointment? Who are the one you're happiest to get away with? And hey, they don't have to be the 4 that were just eliminated. Who are you happy you're not racing? Could it be your co-host you're happy you're not racing?
Well, obviously, I mean, I'm surprised that Newton didn't make it, just because second seed. Obviously, I'd be surprised Tyler Dittmer's not here, first seed.
I missed 2 races. Hop off.
Well, I mean, yeah, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, right? What if moments? That could have been another what if moment for you.
True. If I make Charlotte and Milwaukee,
Blah
where are
blah
we?
blah. Blame it on the government. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, the ones that I'm happy that didn't make it from the 4 that got eliminated would be Styres. I raced with Styres at Michigan, showed a lot of speed at Michigan, Auto Club Michigan, kind of sister tracks. Know that he's going to be fast there. Kinda. I said kinda. I brought
It's a lot flatter. Yeah, they're both 2 miles, but Auto Club's a lot flatter.
You would expect if a guy is very fast and very good at Michigan that would kind of, go over and kind of follow Auto Club, so I would
Hey.
say Stires out of that group. But yeah, I'm happy that I don't have to deal with you. I mean, of course, because I
Yeah.
know you're going to be good. But I mean, that's the one that rings a bell out of the 7 through 20 would be Tyler Dittmer. But of course, I was just very surprised Adam Newton. I was talking to
That's the
Newton
shock.
throughout the whole week, and we made an agreement that we were going to work together. So whenever
Yeah.
that caution came out right before stage 2, and we had to do the little green white checkered kind of deal right there.
Yep.
He was in third place. I picked the bottom because Newton was down there, and then he
Yeah.
left me to go with Stires, and I'm like,
And then he wrecked
Why
himself.
are you leaving? Yeah, so I just don't
Or
get
did he?
why that happened. I would have loved to have seen him push me. Maybe we got stage points, maybe not, but we could have continued working together, and maybe he would have made it.
Maybe. Well, gentlemen, I'm going to give you your last question. It's a combined question. You get in about 60 seconds to thank everyone who makes everything happen for you, anyone you'd like to thank, and then also who's your championship pick. It can be yourself, and I'll even let you have a second pick if you're someone who's not going to be you. We'll start with you, Nate, and then we'll have Brady go.
I'm not gonna thank my sponsors because they're not real. I mean, they were legit, but not legit to me anymore. But I just want to give a shout out to the broadcasters that take their time every Monday night and also Fridays to spend time broadcasting us wannabe guys racing these trucks. Big shout out to the boss man Brady for having this league together. I was very unsure about joining another money league because the last one I came from was terribly ran. Brady does a great job. I feel like he's very fair with everybody, and I forgot to pay him multiple times, and he just reminds me. And of course, I sent it to him. That's my fault. But shout out to everybody that comes here every week, even the guys that were eliminated a long time ago from not even making the playoffs. They still show up every week. I know everyone wants to give crap to Brandon Broadfoot. Dude, the
He
dude's
runs every week.
he runs every week, and everybody knows he's not going to win, but he still shows up every week, and I applaud him for having a good sense of humor with everybody
Yep.
that trash talks him, and people don't look at it that way, but that's how I look at it. He's a good dude. I don't care how he races. He shows up every week just to give people his money, and anybody else that does this, anybody else that's along with him, I just applaud everybody for still showing up here, and hopefully we have at least 25, 30 guys on next Monday.
Hopefully. So who's your pick, though, Nate?
Oh yeah, that question. For some stupid reason, I want to say Brady. I'm going to go with Brady. You know, last season I didn't think he was going to win it, but I think he did win it last season.
Adam won it
face
last
it.
season.
It's
Yeah.
who? Yeah, it's rigged. So I'm going to go with Brady. He's going to win it.
All right. Well, Brady, your moment to thank everyone who makes it happen. Obviously, as the boss man, and then your championship pick.
Well, I can assure you that nothing's rigged, or else I would have at least 5 to 6 wins by now.
Overrated.
Hey, number one seed, right? No, first and foremost, on a serious note, my wife and kids, man. My wife and kids allow me to race on Mondays. I get to do some recruiting during the week. I get to do this podcast with Tyler and Cody Knott on Thursdays. Sometimes I race on Friday nights and take those Friday nights away from them. And I'm always on the phone. I'm always dealing with the driver or drivers. I'm always dealing with somebody's, uh, you know, whether it's good or bad, just an opinion or whatnot. Just trying to kind of keep this whole thing together. You got board of directors, executives, appeals panels. After races, you have protests, you have appeals. So my wife and kids is what really, gets the credit for everything that I'm able to do. Cody Knott, my vice president. I mean, huge shout out to him. He takes
Our
on that role.
producer.
Yeah, he takes on that role of, he doesn't only contribute to the league, but he does things and he doesn't ask me for anything. Um, he deals with the broadcasting crew. He makes sure we're broadcasting a race tonight for another league.
Yep.
Shout out to Goat Locker Racing, Dean and Jacobs on the mic, broadcasting that series.
Good Locker,
And
Good Locker's good. I race
yeah,
there.
and Cody's in charge of all that stuff, of getting that stuff together. And he's just the guy that kind of keeps me in line. I might start talking about something, and he's Brady. We discussed that last week, and he kind of So I wouldn't be able to do everything that I'm able to do without Cody Knott. Tyler Dittmer, my sidekick on Thursday nights. I appreciate you. I appreciate the commitment to this podcast. We brought it up. We talked about doing it, and we're here. We're doing it. Everybody, Nazareth 360 Racing Network, Wesley, Will Tiller, that's Wesley
That's
Outlet,
great.
Will Tiller, Dean Hopkins. Yeah, is it Dean Hopkins? Cody, what's his last name? Hopton. Uh, Adam
Adam
Flieger,
Flieger. Yep.
Jacob Reeves.
Yep.
I've announced Huck Wiggington. You're going to see in the booth tomorrow night.
Michael
Just
McKinnon on
Michael
Mondays.
McKinnon. Blake Lothian's helped out. I mean, just everybody that comes and helps out with the broadcast crew. They make the show. I mean, we put the show on for them, but they make the show happen. So man, I could go on and on. I mean, NRE Power Systems, Mission One Esports, Keith Bradley, Robbie Richards, Joey Doucette, Ed Osborne, um, Jacob Reeves, Kyle Hess. I'm saying Kyle Hess. Kyle Hess was with me in the beginning. Shout out to Kyle Hess if he's watching. Sean Hamilton, Tim Hammond, just to name a few. Ashley Dodson. Man, all my buddies, my teammates that encourage me, kind of help me out, give me some hints on what I need to do or what I'm lacking. And I'm gonna actually go out on a limb and thank a couple other people. Nathan Maurer for sticking it out. I had to actually feel like I had to beg Nate to come back because I didn't want Nate to not be here because I think Nate's good for this series and I like beating up on him every week. Adam Newbert for coming back. I enjoy racing with Adam Newbert. I know Kim and Nate went through some personal things. I wish both of them nothing but the best. Hopefully they come out on top.
Oh, I came out on top. I'm out on top, buddy. I'm out on top.
But they, it's nice to race with those guys. Stephen Thomas, I love and enjoy racing with Stephen Thomas. Stephen Thomas makes me better. I hope he does well. Has a great playoff run in the Friday night series.
Yep.
Jeff Sickles, that helps me out a lot behind the scenes that nobody knows about. Jeff brings a lot of sponsors into this league, and he's not asked to do it. He goes out there and he finds them. He brings them in. Same thing with Huck Wiggington and the Cops Association. All those guys. We're gonna actually after the final lap, Tyler. We're gonna thank all of our sponsors. I want to cover all of them. Big
I'll
shout out
forget about half of them.
Clinton Sneed, SimRacerHub.com. It's been 2 great seasons. The opportunity came about with DSR, so we're gonna put them in a lower tier level sponsor grade. But shout out to Clinton Sneed and that organization for everything they've done for us. And I'm gonna get to my pick on who I think's gonna win. My pick is definitely I have to. I think Joey Doucette wins it. Just the storyline, everything that's going on, the motivation behind it. Um, you know, and this is nothing against Joey. I don't want to kind of dampen the mood or whatnot. But I feel like Joey has a better opportunity than myself, or Nathan or Justin, some of the people that I know in the league. Just because I think Joey's probably ran about 500 laps already. He's been practicing for 2 weeks. He was locked in at Chicagoland. He immediately, you ain't got to practice for Talladega. We know that. You could show up, maybe even make a qualifying lap and just race at Talladega. Joey's been practicing Auto Club for the past 2 weeks. He's probably practiced morning, noon, afternoon, late afternoon, nighttime, morning, 2 o'clock in the morning settings, just because he didn't know what time of day we were going to be running. I know he's got people that support him, back him, that give him information to help him out. I'm just going with the storyline of Joey Doucette.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you both spending time here. Nate, really appreciate you coming in and talking with us. Wishing you the best of luck on Monday night, Nate. Again, thank you for joining us. Driver of the 971 for, I believe, Brute Force Motorsports, right? I didn't mess that up. Yep,
Yes,
sweet.
sir. Hey, I do have a podcast request. You need to get me and Hunter on there. Everybody gets so excited when we say each other's names. You guys got to do it. You guys just got to do it.
We'll bring you off maybe during the off season. The off season show. That'd be great.
No disrespect to Hunter. I love racing with him.
You two are just such tough competitors. I'll give you that.
That's how it is, and I like it. I like it. It's like Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin.
Well, Nate, before you go, man, this is me as a competitor, as the boss man. Appreciate you grinding it out all season long, man. Congratulations for making it this far. Congratulations for being me and you 2 times in a row, championship 4, 6 drivers. You deserve to be here, man. I'm happy for you. I wish you nothing but the best. And if you win the championship, man, you really deserve it. I mean that from my heart. So good luck to you Monday night.
Same to you, and same to all the other drivers. Everyone that's there obviously deserved it. So, I mean, heck, isn't the only driver in there without a win Justin White? I mean, that'd be cool for him to get his
Lance
first
Miller
win.
also has no
Oh,
win.
Lance Miller. It'd be cool. It'd be awesome to see one of them two guys win it too, because they haven't got a win yet. Let them get their win when it matters. But you guys all have a
The
good
Daniel
night.
Hemrick moment.
Yes, it would be. But you guys all have a great night.
Yeah,
You as well, Nate. Thank you again for joining us. Brady, really a great show so far. I really have enjoyed a lot of this so far tonight, Brady. But we got to move on to the final lap. We have gone overtime, but people are still watching, and you and I are still having fun. It's all that matters, right?
Absolutely. We said 2 hours. We're going in 2.5. It doesn't matter. We're having fun.
I don't think I could deal with a Nate Maurer, Hunter Parsons. Keith Bradley says I'll be the moderator. Keith, I don't trust you to be. Well, you'd be an entertaining moderator, that's for sure.
That show would last literally 2 minutes and 42 seconds.
Yeah, someone would cut off, and someone would be, and it would just we'd have to shut down the stream for legal reasons. Anyways, I think we do 15 minutes for the final lap. Put that time up on the clock. It's time for the final lap with Tyler and Brady here on the hot lap. Brady, first, you said you were taking Joey just as the champion. Are you standing by that pick?
Absolutely. Like I said, I kind of explained it. Joey just, he's been practicing. He's kind of ahead of the rest of us, I would say. No telling what these drivers have been doing to prepare. I'm not going to say what I've done. I know that there's a lot of guys that want to be kind of conservative and say, oh, yeah, I'm just going to show up for practice and whatnot. I know, Justin, you may not run Auto Club, every night in practice Auto Club. But as long as you're racing on the server, I feel like that's kind of keeping you in competitive mode, and that's what you have to do to win these championships. It doesn't matter if you're practicing for Auto Club; you could be running Homestead tonight, as we saw Justin White in his rig early on in the podcast. He's racing tonight. That just means that he's staying competitive. He's staying fit. He's keeping those muscle memories there for discipline, for saving tires and being competitive and quick. So Joey's the same way. I know Joey races multiple nights a week. I know Nate races multiple nights a week. I'm not sure about Lance Miller and even Hunter that much. Well, Hunter just said that
Hunter races on Tuesdays and a couple other nights.
So yeah. So I mean, as long as you're in the sim and you're running it, you're going to be competitive. I will say, this is going to be a show. If you are a fan of what we do, you like tuning in to Mondays and Fridays, please watch Monday night. It is going to be awesome. Now, I will say this. The X factor in all of this, Tyler, is we saw it last year. Nate Maurer gets into it with a non-championship driver, Jason Morales. Nothing
who led the majority of the early race.
Yes. And next thing you know, Nate Maurer is not even part of the conversation anymore. So the X factor in all of this, whether we like it or not, because it's going to be tight racing, it's going to be side by side, double file, almost like a super speedway race kind of mentality deal until the tires wear off for at least the first 5 to 10 laps. In that time frame, it's going to be side by side racing. After the stages, whatnot, then it's going to kind of fan out. Who gets caught up in somebody else's mess? Because you have 7th through 20th fighting for something. You can say all you want. Hey, I'm a championship
21st
driver.
through 26th are also fighting for a lot of money. Steve Barnett and Tim Hammond have been talking a lot of crap to each other the entire week because they both want that prize.
Yes. And we haven't even that's one of the best storylines in NASRA right now.
No
as far as
the other 4 drivers. I think Taylor Peacock's also in the top 26, but Steve Barnett and Tim Hammond really care about the 21st position.
Absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. There's so many other things. We could have 34, 35 trucks Monday night. And who's going to win the race and who's going to stay clean and stay out of harm's way, get lucky, green flag pit stops. Does somebody save a set of tires and have a set of tires at the end? There's just so many things that could go right and go wrong. Nate, to his, we all know Nate. This is not anything disrespectful to him, but he says, "Well, I'm gonna, I might not be able to lay back, or I might lay back." Nate's known for letting people go, right? And then he
Yep.
comes and he's 2/10 faster than everybody towards lap 22 to lap 30.
I agree.
But what happens when Nate follows everything, takes his tires through the stages, the green flag, and then there's a late race caution, and somebody has tires? Well, you can't lay back anymore. You
Nope.
have to go for it. So there's just so many things that could go wrong, so many things that could go right. We don't know how this race is going to play out. So who knows what's going to happen, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my championship pick short and sweet. I got to pick my teammate, Hunter Parsons. He's a solid driver. He really knows how to take care of his tires. We saw it at Chicagoland, finishing in the top 5. Really, really solid. I think he gets it done. I know I'll be trying to help him, but also at the same time, I'm trying to win the race. Like Adam Newton and myself are out there to win races. We're not gonna help. I mean, there's no swim driver in the Championship 6. Adam Newton doesn't give a crap about the Championship 6. Adam Newton's going out to win a race next week. And no offense to Hunter, unless he's racing one of you guys close and me, kind of being there bothers one of y'all's line, my goal is to win the race next week as well. So I'm going to pick Hunter Parsons to win the race or be the champion. I actually think Adam Newton wins the race, though. I think we're going to have a non-champion win the race. Newton or myself will probably win, but Parsons will win the championship, finishing second or third. Pick a Friday night winner. Atlanta, tomorrow night. I take Taylor Peacock, Super Speedway racer, Atlanta Motor Speedway, new configuration. I like Taylor.
I'm going to go, Cody Knotts screaming Brandon Bullock, which was my pick early in the year.
Earlier? Yeah, I chose Blanchard earlier.
But hey, this is a different topic. So I'm going to let Cody have Brandon Bullock, his teammate, Warrior Racing. This name just popped up in my head. I don't know why, but I love the pick. Jacob Klinghart.
Ooh,
I love
20th ranked driver.
Jacob ran well here. I ran this race, I want to say 2 seasons ago, maybe.
Yeah, there's only 7 trucks on the lead lap. He was on the lead lap. I was on the
Yeah.
lead lap. Ted Wade was on the lead lap. Ted Wade, I
Yeah.
think, won the race.
I finished second in that race.
Stupid race.
But when the reconfiguration came out, we ran it. That was the first time we ran it. And Jacob was fast. I think Jacob won stage 1 in that race. So I'm going with Jacob Klinghart.
Pick a Martinsville winner for Cup and Xfinity.
Xfinity.
You said John Hunter earlier.
I'm going to go John. I'm going John Hunter Nemechek. Cup. I'm going Denny Hamlin.
All right, I'm taking Sammy Smith and William Byron. Cody said Chase Elliott and who for Xfinity? Sorry, producer. He says he doesn't care about Xfinity. Who has a better rookie Cup season, Josh Berry or Carson Hocevar with Spire?
So this is kind of gonna maybe
this
seem
was a what if, by the way.
cruel.
What if Stuart Haas Racing never went to Ford? That was a what if we got late. That's a great topic. So where was Chevy to start?
I'm going Carson Hocevar because I mean you've seen Corey LaJoy had some success over there. He's had some success in the 42. And I would say, with limited resources, because that team's moving to Toyota, so they're not getting much help from Chevy. They're not getting help from Toyota right now because of the Chevy car. So, I mean, I think he's overachieving in that 42 car. I think that transpires with going to Spires Motorsport, no pun intended, because they're a team that overachieves, right? Corey LaJoy. It's only a matter of time before he wins a super speedway race, just because that's the equalizer kind of deal.
I have a hot take for that, but we'll get to that.
I think Carson comes into that 70. It's the 77, right?
Yeah, he'll take over Ty Dillon's ride.
Yeah. So I think he overachieves and he beats Josh Berry just because the simple fact is, what's going to happen with Stuart Haas Racing? Are they going to even be competitive next season?
They're not competitive this season.
They were not competitive this season. So I just think Josh Berry is going from great equipment to mediocre equipment, and he's not going to do very well.
He also isn't doing very well in great equipment. He has 0 wins this season. Got knocked out in the round of 12 or whatever. He has been pretty bad, in my opinion. Like, Sam Mayer's kicking his ass.
Exactly.
However you slice it, Carson Hocevar will have the better season. I've heard a rumor Spire will be one of the most well-funded teams in the garage next year. They're bringing on some big sponsors potentially with a lot of cash.
Nice.
It's just a rumor, but keep an eye out for that here in the near future. Spire Motorsports may be having a lot of money coming here soon for Spire Motorsports. Carson Hocevar is going to have a better year than Josh Berry. Neither of them will win. But Hocevar will get a win before LaJoy. I will say that. LaJoy is not getting. Actually, Hocevar outperforms LaJoy next season. I'm putting that on the record now.
Since we were talking about Martinsville a couple of questions ago, what if Ross Chastain doesn't do the wall move and Denny Hamlin makes it in there?
Hamlin makes the champ 4, and Hamlin just turns Logano
Like I
instead
said,
of riding behind him.
we might have to have a whole show about what ifs because this is great.
That is going to be a show. Honestly, yeah, we should just do a what if hot lap only show. It'd be pretty entertaining. You brought up, is the feud with Nick Sanchez and Matt Crafton over, or do I see something happening at Phoenix? Sanchez is eliminated from playoff contention now, ladies and gentlemen. He got eliminated at Homestead, Miami. I could see him hooking Matt Crafton here. And not going to lie, based on everything I saw on social media, I wouldn't necessarily be upset with it, as long as it was safe, right? You can't right hook him into the outside wall at full speed on that. But if he just dumps him in 3 and 4, I am okay with that. Crafton, he's a veteran. He means a lot to the truck series. He's done really well throughout the years. He was in the wrong for how the incident happened after the race in the garage area. Other drivers have even said he was in the wrong in how he handled himself in jumping Nick Sanchez. Is Nick Sanchez, like perfectly innocent? No, he races kind of dumb sometimes. But would I be upset if Sanchez just, gave him the bumper in 1 and 2 and sent him around or 3 and 4 in a slow corner? No, I don't care. That's perfectly fair in my opinion. Both of them are out of the championship contention. It's not affecting anyone championship points-wise. I think it's fair game, Brady.
Absolutely. And, we never really got closure from, I would say, NASCAR's side of things.
NASCAR decided not to do anything other than suspend Nick's father for getting involved in the fight.
Right.
I think they may have fined Crafton and Sanchez.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that was
dumb
pretty
fine.
brutal. It was pretty brutal.
He was bleeding pretty bad.
Yeah, and so it's kind of interesting, that whole dynamic, because what I'm saying is that, like, you heard 2 different sides of the story, right?
Yep,
He got
I agree.
jumped, sucker punched, whatever, and then they were like, no, they were squared up against each other. I would like some little bit more information. How was there not a camera involved to see the whole thing?
Not until after they were on the ground, right? That one camera video we saw, they were all on the ground at that point. It's like, well, I have no clue how this started.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I would like to have seen, the beginning towards the end. It's just kind of odd with social media and cameras always flying around that you would miss the beginning of that fight. Because you kind of knew it had to have been brewing. Like, why else would Matt Crafton be going after Nick Sanchez? So yeah, I actually agree with you. I felt as Matt Crafton almost felt like he was entitled to act the way he did.
Which for an incident that wasn't that bad, right? Can we go back to the on-track incident? Sanchez threw a block, but it didn't wreck any of them, and it wasn't necessarily a bad block, and no different than what we see every Cup Series race.
Absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it just, to me, it was
severe
way out of
overreaction.
proportion. Yeah. I don't know. It really got my blood pumping too while watching it. So, but yeah, I hope Nick does some retaliation. I think it'd make for good TV for that truck series.
Oh yeah, it's a late race too. 10 o'clock Eastern time for the championship race. I'm gonna have to stay up late to watch it next week. It's gonna be rough, but honestly, well, oh no wait, I go to Barbados the week after for my honeymoon. Anyways, beside the point, we got one more topic written on the show sheet. Is it time to make changes to the next gen car to make the racing better? Yes and no. All right. I've listened to enough of drivers commenting on how much the tire affects the racing that even though the next gen car isn't perfect, they're improving it from the safety standard and honestly the racing standard. The mile and a halfs are the best racing we've seen in NASCAR Cup Series history and since freaking the 80s maybe. I don't know. The mile and a halfs are amazing. Super speedways, they need to just cut the spoiler all the way off. No spoiler, zero downforce. I would even get rid of the what's it called? Brick. The thing underneath the body. Thank you. I don't even know what you said. Sorry, Cody.
The splitter.
Yeah, no, not the splitter. The backside, the rear of the car.
Oh, that. Damn it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They just
We're
did a
also
test about it.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, they removed it. It really didn't do much, but I think it would do a lot in super speedways. Yeah, we're still live, Steve, and you just sent me a Facebook request. Diffuser, thank you, Keith. Thank God. Yeah, get rid of the diffuser and get rid of the spoiler completely on super speedways. No spoiler, and increase the horsepower by about 100. The car will be perfectly fine. The tire doesn't matter. Super speedways. The tire means everything on short tracks. We saw the wet weather tire make everything so much better at Martinsville earlier this season. Why can't Goodyear make a slick tire that wears? Why is this so freaking hard for them to understand?
Absolutely. But I do think they, excuse me, I do think they need to improve it because I do think the racing could be better.
Mile and a half, don't touch the package. Do not
yeah,
touch it at mile and a half.
But super speedway, we're not really seeing the 3-wide racing like at Talladega that we're accustomed to.
Last
the package
Talladega race,
trucks.
though, was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting better, right? It's progressing because people are
They're making
complaining. People
changes.
want to stay. So, but enough of that. We got a minute and 25. Cody gave us another minute because he knows we wanted to get one more topic in here. Last topic of the night. Let's touch on the consolation playoffs. It's the first time ever we're doing this in Nazareth. We split the field. We made two playoff systems. We take the top 20 instead of the top 16. We take the top 20. And then if you don't make the playoffs, you still have something to fight for. $125 is on the line. 21st through 43. They're fighting their own elimination playoff system. They follow just like we do. People get eliminated each round. The final 6 guys, help me out with this. Tim Hammond,
Steve Barnett, Tim Hammond, Taylor Peacock. Who else is there?
Ed Osborne.
Okay, Ed Osborne. I don't know the rest. Crap, I gotta find it. I'm just gonna say right now, Steve Barnett's gonna get it, and I'm gonna end it with that.
Okay, we got Tim Hammond, Ed Osborne, Steve Barnett, Chris Keynes, Jeff Johnson, Chris Kynes.
Jeff Johnson. Okay.
Jeff Johnson. Yeah. So Ed Taylor, Ed Osborne, Taylor Peacock, Steve Barnett, Jeff Johnson, Chris Kynes, and Tim Hammond.
Steve Barnett gets it. Steve Barnett gets it. He was solid at Michigan. He's won at Michigan in the past because you think that's an equal track. So I'm going to take your logic here. Steve Barnett gets it. Tim Hammond second. Taylor Peacock third. Johnson fourth. Osborne, then Kynes, and I don't remember the last.
I'm going Tim Hammond right now. I think Tim Hammond's been progressing.
Been great between the two of them. By the way, the snack talking so entertaining.
Yes, I love it. I encourage it.
I agree.
They do a great job. I think it's out of Steve and Tim.
Steve's already harassing me for talking about the commentator's curse. He just messaged me. Are you kidding me? We already talked about this.
I've seen a progression in Tim, how he's run races. The whole reason why I got him to come on my team this year was to teach him how to run these races. He's going to overachieve, no doubt about it. But I think Tim is in the catbird seat to beat Steve. And if Tim does win it, Steve will not be able to let this down.
No,
until
it's going to be brutal.
It's going to be bad.
It'd be no different than if Hunter or Nate won the title. One or the other would not hear the end. It would be ridiculous. By the way, if Hunter wins the title, I will have to mute the Discord for the next 3 weeks because I cannot handle the amount of stupidity that will come out of it. I love Hunter. Hunter's great. He's my teammate. I love working with him. But God, I hate the talking. You know me. I talk here because it's not having to do with me. There's another topic I want to get to, but I want to get to it next week because we have gone way too long. You need to thank all the sponsors. I'm going to step away for a quick second while you go through all of them real fast. But yeah, Bray, if you want to just take away thanking all of our sponsors that make it happen, especially on the Monday Night Series this year.
Absolutely. We can't do it without the people, support, helping. There's a lot of us that have personal sponsors, like our producer, Cody Knott, has Pulse Poppers. So we can't do this. It's 25 weeks out the year. We do 2 seasons a year. We're racing 50 weeks out the year. Want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, everybody that helps us do this week in and week out. I'm going to start with DSR Electric, cops, concerns of police survivors, Blanchard's Towing, Nazar 360 Racing Network, Pulse Poppers, as I just mentioned, Butt Kicker, Hoopty's Garage, Millie's Restaurant and Catering, Nazra, A's Lawn and Landscaping, 213simware.com, NRE Power Systems, Triple M Pulling, Servpro, Glass Mechanic, Darren's Nail Gun Repair, Murph's Magical Creations, Warrior, Fleeger's Paint Shop, SimRacer.com, and KMA Designs. All 21 sponsors. Thank you guys. You're going to see these logos coming out. The driver's going to run them on their trucks next season. They're all in certain places. You'll catch them on the broadcast next season. But thank you, thank you, thank you to all the sponsors that help us make this going.
Yeah, and you mentioned all the sponsors, Brady, and I want to thank again the sponsor that came on for me this season. That would be the Glass Mechanic for the Monday Night Series. I really appreciate them, the Morales family. Mr. Morales out there in Arizona. Jason, you better make him a 2-time winner shirt because I got that truck in victory lane twice this year and a team championship shirt. He deserves it. Also, I think, you mentioned earlier your family. I do want to give a special shout out to my wife who tolerates me running on these Mondays and also doing the podcast here on Thursdays and any other thing that I do throughout the week and all the messages she tells me all the time. Oh, who's messaging you at 10 o'clock at night? I'm like, it's Brady, I swear to God.
What's her name?
Oh yeah, my lovely wife Taryn, like Karen but with a T because she's not a Karen. Yeah, we're actually finally going on our honeymoon in a few weeks' time down to Barbados, so should be a great time. She's an amazing woman who tolerates me and everything I do, and definitely want to give her a shout out. She really makes this. She really does allow me to have fun with this, and I really do appreciate doing this with you, Brady. This has been, I think, one of the best shows that we've had. I mean, we have great shows every week, and I think it shows with our viewership, and we appreciate you all tuning in who watch us every single week, and we just want to keep growing and getting bigger and better. I think you and I have some great conversations, and there's some things I want to get into next week when we have our champion on. That happened this past week, but we'll save that for another show. But I definitely have some hot takes to bring at you for next week's show, and
absolutely. And
hopefully
it's just us two again. Hopefully.
True. That'd make it a lot easier if you were the champion. I will not deny the fact.
Yeah, I mean, who wants Hunter Parsons on a podcast anyways?
To be fair, Hunter Parsons would probably be the most entertaining of the 6 to win.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, have you seen his picture?
Yeah, ridiculous. Also, the shirt he made it himself, obviously, if you couldn't tell. It looked like a 6th grader's art project. But no, huge shout out to all 6 championship drivers who are on with us tonight. Obviously, you, Brady, Hunter, Justin White, Joey Doucette. Again, really appreciate him coming on, 16 strong. Nate Maurer and Lance Miller. Wishing everyone the best of luck next week. Tune in tomorrow night in the Nazar 360 Racing Network broadcasts the Concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series live from the new Atlanta Motor Speedway. Keith Bradley hopefully won't spin out on his own on the final lap to disappoint me. And then tune in Monday night, the Championship 6 take on Auto Club for the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series and the final race of the season. It's going to be a barn burner, Brady, and non-championship 6 driver is going to win it because Adam Newton or myself is going to win the race.
I would not argue with you on that, but in my case, it doesn't matter if I win the race or not. We just got to go out there and get a championship, bring it home. But yes, I think it's going to be, we got 2 great. I mean, look, we're starting the playoffs on Friday night and we're crowning a champion on Monday. I mean, what better way to stagger these series and to have things to talk about? So we're going into the playoffs. We're about to crown a champion and then start a new one, start a new season. So just, just happy. Like I said, thank you to everybody. Shout out to all the wives that let us come out here and do all this stuff.
Seriously.
Congratulations to you on your wedding, getting married again. I hope you have fun on your honeymoon. And who knows, we might see you back full time season 4 on Mondays. I guess you'll have to catch that on another show one day.
Yeah, don't. Shh. Also, by the way, Keith told me that he's not racing tomorrow, so joke's on me. Well, joke's on you for spinning out and giving up, second or third or wherever you were, Keith. So, by yourself, by the way.
Yeah, he bought a new house. Who buys a new house whenever they're about to get in a playoff run? But
Yeah, seriously, we got important things going on, Keith. Don't you understand? You have a title to defend. You were my pick preseason, other than Chris Cinnamon, which honestly, at this rate, both of them are going to end up being busts.
absolutely. But
Yeah,
anyways,
seriously. We appreciate you all tuning in. We hope you had as much fun as we did, because we had a lot of fun tonight. I especially had a lot of fun tonight. A lot of questions coming for you next week, a lot of topics, and our Championship 6 driver from the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series will be joining us live next week on the podcast. Until next time, that's Brady LaBeouf. I'm Tyler Detmer. Thank you for tuning in to The Hot Lap.